Family Immortal Cultivation. Starting as a spiritual farmer, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Father and son finally meet. Lingxiao grocery store is built entirely of ordinary ironwood. The whole building is 2 meters high and has 2 floors. The first floor sells various first-level low-grade spiritual objects, such as elixirs, monster furs, spiritual rice, spiritual iron, etc., and the second floor sells various first-level medium-grade spiritual objects. There is also a large courtyard behind the store, with 5 guest rooms in the courtyard. Lingxiao and his wife, who are in charge of this store, live in the guest rooms in the backyard. Because there are few visitors to the grocery store, Ling Pengyun was noticed by a handsome middle-aged man with irregular features and fair skin in the store as soon as he appeared at the door of the grocery store. The handsome middle-aged man in the store is Ling Pengyun's father Lingxiao. It was with the help of this excellent skin that Lingxiao married Yang Qiuyan, the daughter of Yang Menghua, the 5th elder of the old foundation-building family Yang, with the qualifications of 4 spiritual roots. When Lingxiao saw Ling Pengyun coming, a bright smile appeared on his face. Feeling the powerful aura exuding from Ling Pengyun, he, who was at the 5th level of key training, could not see through it. His pupils shrank, and his face became even more joyful. He shouted in surprise, "Xiaoyan, why are you here? You have indeed broken through to the 7th level of key training." Ling Pengyun's cultivation level broke through to the 7th level of key training. It was after the end of the Huaishu meeting last year, when Ling Pengyun's grandfather Yang Menghua returned to Yanshu County and informed Lingxiao and Ling Pengyun's mother Yang Qiuyan. After hearing this news, Lingxiao and his wife were very happy for a while. They were far away in Yanshu County, and few of their clansmen came here. They were very close to the news of the family, and they knew little about their biological son Ling Pengyun. After Lingxiao exclaimed in surprise, he quickly walked out of the counter in the store and walked towards Ling Pengyun outside the store. "Dad." Ling Pengyun was so happy when he saw Lingxiao coming towards him that he smiled and bowed. Then, he also stepped into the grocery store, walked in front of Lingxiao, and explained the reason for coming here. "Dad, I have completed the 5-year mission assigned by the family to guard Qingshi Mountain. After returning to the family plans to let me take over from my 8th great-grandfather and sit in Lingxiao Mountain, the original mountain of the family in this county." Lingxiao heard this with a slightly puzzled look on his face and asked, "I know that you are stationed at Qingshi Mountain, but what is the meaning of letting you station at Lingxiao Mountain? There are many spiritual plants in Lingxiao Mountain that are of the first level, middle and upper grades. It is difficult for a man to take care of spiritual plants that are not of the first level, middle and upper grades. Don't just take on the work because you want to be transferred to Yanshu County to meet me and your mother frequently because of the lack of manpower in the clan. If it is because of you that the spiritual plants in Lingxiao Mountain have an accident, it will not be a big loss for you, but it will be a huge loss for the family." Ling Pengyun saw that Lingxiao had misunderstood him and laughed. "Dad, don't worry. My spiritual plants have now reached the first level middle grade, and I can barely take care of those spiritual plants in Lingxiao Mountain. If not, my 11th great-grandfather would not have sent me to replace my 8th great-grandfather and sit in Lingxiao Mountain. Your spiritual plants have also reached the first level middle grade." Lingxiao was shocked and said in disbelief. His son Ling Pengyun is only 21 years old now, but at the age of 21, he has not only broken through to the 7th level of key training, but also a first level middle grade spiritual plant. Even in the Ling family, a large family that builds foundations based on spiritual plants, only the clan leader Ling Yunhuan can be compared with Ling Pengyun. The other first-level middle-grade spiritual plant masters in the family are at least 30 or 40 years old before they break through, and their cultivation is gradually improved. "Really, Dad, please look, this is my life spiritual plant, the thorn vine, and now it is a first-level middle-grade spiritual plant." In order to reassure Lingxiao, Ling Pengyun deliberately summoned a small piece of thorn vine attached to his chest and handed it to Lingxiao. As soon as Lingxiao's spiritual consciousness probed into the body of the small piece of thorn vine in his hand, he felt that it had indeed reached the middle stage of key training, and its aura was stable. There are 2 factors for the improvement of spiritual plants: One is the grade of the spiritual plant's secret method, and the other is the grade of the spiritual plant. For ordinary spiritual plants, whose rank is always difficult to improve, the spiritual plant's secret method is not the difficulty, but the rank of the natal spiritual plant. It is often the rank of the natal spiritual plant that holds them back. Generally, as long as the natal spiritual plant breaks through the rank, the spiritual plant's secret method is generally not a difficulty. Lingxiao, who is from a spiritual plant family, naturally knows this common sense. At the same time, he is also sure that what Ling Pengyun just said is true. He laughed and said, "Good boy. I haven't seen you for many years, but you have given me another big surprise." Ling Pengyun saw Lingxiao smile and was very happy in his heart. He also laughed along. After the two calmed down, Ling Pengyun looked around the store, but did not see his mother Yang Qiuyan, so he asked, "Dad, where's Mom? Isn't it that your cousin Yang Xiling is getting married?" "Your mother, as Xiling's aunt, went to Yang's Qingshi Mountain a few days ago to sow some dowry bedding with several kinds of spiritual silk," Lingxiao said. "Your cousin's wedding will be held in a few days. Now that you have come to Yunshu County, you can follow me and your mother to the Yang family's team to Balingman to attend the wedding banquet, otherwise your grandfather will complain about me again." Yang Qiuyan's fifth elder Yang Minghua, who has a high status in the Yang family, has always looked down on Lingxiao, a member of the Ling family with only 4 spiritual roots. Ling Pengyun also knew about this matter, and he naturally would not make it difficult for his father. It happened that he was planning to attend his cousin's wedding banquet, so he immediately nodded and agreed. Okay. Then, the father and son chatted together, sometimes talking about Ling Pengyun's experience of discovering the Zhuanshu mine when he was stationed in Qingshi Mountain, and sometimes talking about the business of this grocery store, or talking about interesting things that happened in Yunshu Market. Anyway, they talked about whatever they had. It was not until lunchtime that the two stopped chatting. In order to celebrate Ling Pengyun's arrival, Lingxiao, as a father, was extravagant and took Ling Pengyun to the best restaurant in Yunshufang City, Piaxianglao, for a big meal. After the meal, they chatted together again. Anyway, Lingxiao's grocery store didn't have much business. During the chat, Ling Pengyun also told Lingxiao that he had practiced refining tools and could now refine 2 kinds of magic tools, the green bamboo sword and the round iron shield, and that he would refine a batch of magic tools in the grocery store every year in the future. This matter surprised Lingxiao again for a long time. Practicing 200 arts at the same time, and not delaying cultivation, this was something Lingxiao had never dared to think about before, and it would appear in his son Ling Pengyun with 5 spiritual roots. This matter also made Lingxiao worry whether Ling Pengyun practiced some magic skills that could quickly improve his cultivation. Ling Pengyun had already thought of an excuse, and still used the excuse of powerful spiritual consciousness and transcendent understanding, and did not mention the power of yin and yang Taichu at all. Lingxiao was a little skeptical of this statement, and was still worried whether Ling Pengyun had practiced magic skills. It was not until Ling Pengyun, who was only at the 7th level of key training, showed his powerful consciousness that was comparable to that of a key training master that Lingxiao was convinced. He sighed several times and said that his son was a genius. That night, the father and son talked all night. It was not until the next morning that the two stopped chatting. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun lived in the grocery store for another 3 days to accompany Lingxiao, and then left Yunshufang City and went to the Qingshi Mountain where they needed to garrison this time. Horizontal ellipsis. Chapter 102, Distribution of Spiritual Plants in Qingshi Mountain. Qingshi Mountain is 100 feet high and is the original mountain of the Ling family. Because Ling Yunhong, the patriarch of the Ling family, was powerful, he occupied Lingxiao Mountain, a second-grade lower-grade spiritual mountain, when he captured Huaishu County. The entire Ling family moved from this mountain to Lingxiao Mountain in Huaishu County to settle down. And this original mountain, Qingshi Mountain, has become a spiritual mountain that only grows spiritual plants. More than 200 years ago, the spiritual vein in this mountain was only of the first-grade lower grade, but after more than 200 years of accumulation of spiritual stones by the Ling family, the spiritual vein in the mountain was upgraded to the first-grade upper grade more than 100 years ago. After more than 100 years of accumulation of spiritual energy, the first-grade upper grade spiritual vein under the Qingshi Mountain has already reached the peak of its current grade. It is only one step away from the final step, and this spiritual vein can enter the second grade lower grade. However, because the Ling family had no spiritual stones at the time and had no strength to defend a second grade spiritual vein, they gave up the matter of upgrading the spiritual vein in Lingxiao Mountain to the second grade. Using spirit stones to upgrade a first grade upper grade spirit vein to a second grade spirit vein would cost at least tens of thousands of spirit stones. As for the Ling family, although they have spirit stones now, the Ling family, which has few members, has Lingxiao Mountain, a second grade lower grade spirit mountain with rich spiritual energy, which is enough, so they slowed down the upgrade of the spirit vein here. Ling Pengyun, who left Yunshu Market, finally entered the foot of Lingxiao Mountain in Luoyang County, Yunshu County after 2 days of travel by the imperial envoy Lu Xinggai. Ling Pengyun looked up at the mountain where he lived when he was a child, and his expression was filled with memories. After being stunned for a few breaths, he came back to his senses, cast the sound enhancement technique on his body, and shouted to the mountain. 8th great-grandfather, Junior Ling Pengyun, please meet me. Lingxiao Mountain is 100 feet high. Even if the 8th great-grandfather Ling Rukwang stationed in the mountain uses his spiritual sense, it is difficult to detect Ling Pengyun coming at the foot of the mountain. Of course, if Ling Pengyun took a step into the mountain and triggered the mountain protection array arranged in the mountain, Ling Rukwang in the mountain would know it, but this would avoid some unnecessary situations. At the top of Lingxiao Mountain, Ling Rukwang, who was performing the cloud and rain technique in a large spiritual field and watering the spiritual field with a large amount of spiritual rain, heard the call from outside the mountain. His expression slightly condensed, and he lowered his head and looked at the place where the sound came from below the mountain. Seeing that the person calling was Ling Pengyun, he looked a little surprised. Huh? How did this kid Pengyun come here from Huaishu County? In order to prevent Ling Pengyun from waiting for a long time at the foot of the mountain, Ling Rukwang immediately removed the large cloud transformed by the sky cloud and rain technique, added a light body technique to his body, and quickly rushed down the mountain. After a while, Ling Rukwang went down the mountain and met Ling Pengyun. 8th great-grandfather. Ling Pengyun bowed to the senior in front of him and said, Ling Rukwang is the 8th of the Ling family's 4 generations, Ru, Yun, Zio, and Peng. Although he was born in the mortal world and is only a 4 spiritual root cultivator, he has no support from his elders. However, because he has some spiritual plant talents, he has also been valued in the Ling family, a spiritual plant family, and the family has given him a lot of cultivation resources. Relying on the support of his family, he broke through to the 7th level of key training more than 10 years ago. In the field of spiritual plants, he has also made some achievements and is one of the 4 first-level middle-grade spiritual plant practitioners of the Ling family. Pengyun, why are you here? Ling Rukwang asked with a puzzled look on his face. My 11th great-grandfather sent me here to replace you. After Ling Pengyun said a simple word, he took out a letter from the great elder Ling Ruda when he left the clan mountain and handed it to Ling Rukwang. This letter is mostly Ling Ruda's words to persuade Ling Rukwang to return to the clan mountain to retire, and at the end it also includes Ling Pengyun's spiritual plant has reached the first level middle grade, and this time he came to replace him to guard Lingxiao Mountain. After reading the contents of the letter, Ling Rukwang's doubts were answered. He looked at Ling Pengyun with joy and said with a smile, I didn't expect that you, a child, could break through to the first level middle grade of spiritual plants so quickly. 11th brother was right about you. 8th great-grandfather, you are too kind. Ling Pengyun said. Ling Rukwang smiled and said, since you are already a first-class middle-grade spiritual plant husband, I feel relieved to leave the spiritual plants in this spiritual mountain to you. I am indeed old, and it is time for me to return to our Ling family's new mountain to retire. 11th brother mentioned in the letter that you need to go to Balingman to attend the wedding banquet between Yang and Balingman on the 2nd of next month, so I will stay here for a while. After you attend a wedding banquet, I will return to the mountain. During this time, I can also introduce you to some of the spiritual plants currently planted in Lingxiao Mountain. Come with me up the mountain. Ling Rukwang greeted him and took Ling Pengyun to Lingxiao Mountain. On the way, he first briefly introduced to Ling Pengyun the number of spiritual fields in the 2 areas of Lingxiao Mountain, halfway up the mountain and on the top of the mountain. Before the Ling family moved away from this mountain, the low-level spiritual fields on the halfway up the mountain were only 5 acres of first-class lower-grade spiritual fields. and the high-level spiritual fields on the top of the mountain were only 5 acres of first-class upper-grade spiritual fields and 1 acre of second-class lower-grade spiritual fields. But when the Ling clan moved away, no one absorbed the rich spiritual energy in the mountain. In order to avoid wasting the spiritual energy in the mountain, Ling Ruda, the elder of the family, led a group of spiritual planters in the family, relying on the spare spiritual energy in the mountain, and using the soil cultivation technique. He opened up another 5 acres of first-level low-grade spiritual fields in the spiritual field area halfway up the mountain. He also opened up another 5 acres of first-level middle-grade spiritual fields on the top of the mountain, and there were as many as 11 acres of spiritual fields on the top of the mountain. There are a total of 21 acres of spiritual fields in the entire Lingxiao Mountain. After a while, Ling Rukwang took Ling Pengyun to the 10 acres of spiritual fields halfway up the mountain. At this time, the 10 acres of spiritual fields were planted with 3-foot-tall, arm-thick green spiritual bamboos. Ling Rukwang pointed to a bamboo forest above the 10 acres of spiritual fields in front of him and introduced them. Pengyun, each of these 10 acres of spiritual fields is planted with 50 green spiritual bamboos, and a total of 500 first-grade lower-quality green spiritual bamboos are planted in the 10 acres. The 5 acres of green spiritual bamboos on the right, which have richer spiritual energy, were planted before the family moved out of the mountain, and have been planted here for decades. The 5 acres of green spiritual bamboos on the left, which have weaker spiritual energy, were planted 8 years ago. Because the grade of the 10 acres of spiritual fields here are all first-grade lower quality, the spiritual energy contained is limited, and they have been unable to break through the grade. They can only grow their trunks through the spiritual energy in the spiritual fields. Every year, these green spiritual bamboos can grow a bamboo pole about 1 foot long, and at the end of each year, what you need to do is to cut off 1 foot of these tall green spiritual bamboos. You just need to ensure that their trunks are still 3 feet high and their roots are not damaged. Because there are many spiritual bamboos in these 10 acres of green spiritual bamboo, there are usually many flying insects from outside the mountain that are attracted to this bamboo forest and eat the bamboo leaves and bamboo poles of the green spiritual bamboo. But you don't need to worry. The family has domesticated 50 innate pigeons in the mountains, which are specially used to guard the spiritual plants in the mountains to prevent these spiritual plants from being harmed by flying insects. In addition, it is best to water these 10 acres of green spiritual bamboo with spiritual rain every day, which will also promote the growth of this green spiritual bamboo forest. In the spring of next year, the probability of green spiritual bamboo shoots growing in this green spiritual bamboo will also be higher. Although the green spiritual bamboo shoots do not contain much spiritual energy, they can barely be regarded as a kind of cultivation resource. Every year, you only need to hand over 100 kilograms of bamboo shoots to the family from these 10 acres of spiritual fields, and the excess bamboo shoots will be yours. These bamboo shoots taste extremely delicious. If they are stir-fried with monster meat, the taste will be even more delicious. The innate pigeons raised in the mountains taste pretty good. Every year, the flock will reproduce a few pigeons. You only need to keep 50 innate pigeons, and the extra ones can be eaten. Kindling bamboo shoots and pigeon meat are also extra benefits for guarding this mountain. Ling Rukwang said with a smile. Let's go to the top of the mountain. After saying that, Ling Rukwang took Ling Pengyun to the top of the mountain. The top of Lingxiao Mountain is very flat and there is nothing wrong with it. Apart from a small pigeon house, a 2-story bamboo building, and 11 acres of spiritual fields, there is nothing else. The 11 acres of spiritual fields on the top of the mountain are planted with many kinds of spiritual plants. 5 acres of first-grade medium-quality spiritual fields, of which 4 acres are planted with first-grade medium-quality, 3-year ripening jade spiritual rice, and 1 acre of first-grade medium-quality green spiritual bamboo. 5 acres of first-grade high-quality spiritual fields, of which 2 acres are planted with white jade spiritual rice, 2 acres are planted with the green spiritual grass, the main medicine of the cultivation elixir kindling dan. Half an acre is planted with 20 first-grade high-quality green spiritual bamboos, and half an acre is planted with 60 first-grade medium-quality green spiritual bamboos. As for the 1-acre spiritual field with a grade as high as the 2nd-grade lower quality, it is planted with the main medicine jiling grass of the 2nd-grade lower quality cultivation elixir, Juling Dan. Pengyun, the 61st-grade middle-grade green spiritual bamboos planted in that 1-acre first-grade top-grade spiritual field are all used to cultivate first-grade top-grade green spiritual bamboos. Before they break through the realm, There is no need to cut off the new bamboo poles, they grow every year. Just let them grow. As for the 21st grade top grade green spiritual bamboos, due to their grade, they will only grow a section of bamboo pole every 10 years. I just cut off a batch 3 years ago. During the 5 years you have been stationed in Lingxiao Mountain, you don't need to cut off a section of their bamboo poles and hand them over to the family. You can water them with spiritual rain and use the ripening technique. After Ling Rukwang roughly told Ling Pengyun about the spiritual plants planted in the mountain, he also talked about a lot of small details about these spiritual plants planted in the mountain. Ling Pengyun was not tired of it and kept everything Ling Rukwang said in his mind. These small details about the plants planted in the mountain are extremely important, just like the 61st grade medium grade green spiritual bamboos planted in the 1st grade upper grade spiritual field. If Ling Rukwang did not tell him that they were kept for cultivation into 1st grade upper grade green spiritual bamboos, when they grew new bamboo poles, Ling Pengyun might cut off a section of the bamboo poles and hand them over to the family. It was not until nightfall that Ling Rukwang stopped talking and invited Ling Pengyun to dinner. As an elder, Ling Rukwang, in order to welcome Ling Pengyun, did not hesitate to prepare a table of bamboo shoots banquet for Ling Pengyun with several kilograms of bamboo shoots produced by 1st grade upper grade green spiritual bamboo that he had collected for many years, and stewed a few innate pigeons raised in the mountains, such as bamboo shoots fried with monster meat, braised bamboo shoots, steamed bamboo shoots, pigeon stewed with bamboo shoots. Although these dishes are mainly based on bamboo shoots, the taste is impeccable. Ling Pengyun liked bamboo shoots when he was a child. In addition, Ling Rukwang has been alone for many years and has mastered good cooking skills, which made Ling Pengyun enjoy this meal very much. After dinner, Ling Rukwang pulled Ling Pengyun to chat for a while, and then arranged for Ling Pengyun to live in a room on the 2nd floor of the bamboo building. Ling Pengyun has never had any pursuit for a place to live, as long as it is clean. After entering the quiet room, Ling Pengyun absorbed a mouthful of moonlight power as usual, and then practiced the skills. Thanks, HP 98 for the 500-point reward. Thanks, your book friend 160,904,124,921,409, Dream World, Hall of Fame Liu Dabao, for the monthly ticket. Chapter 103 will be available tomorrow, everyone. It will be available at 12 noon tomorrow. I would like to thank you for your support. It is also because of your continuous reading that this book has been recommended so many times. I sincerely thank all the readers. Thank you. I won't say much about the rest. After it is available at 12 noon tomorrow, I will update 5 chapters. Please support me. If there is no physical condition, I will update 5 chapters in the future to thank you all. It can also be regarded as speeding up the progress of the content. The future updates will still be at 2 o'clock. Subscription is really important. I hope you can support me. Chapter 104, Arranging Spiritual Beasts. The next morning, Ling Pengyun absorbed the power of the early sun and went to Ling Rukwang to tell him about the Sunhua spirit chicken and the fruit flower bee. After that, he cast a spell on the top of Lingxiao Mountain and summoned several earth walls that were 10 feet high and several inches thick, forming a circle to serve as a chicken cooperative. After setting up a soundproof ban for the chicken coop, he put the 7 Sunhua spirit chickens in the beast bag into this special chicken coop. As soon as the 7 fist-sized Sunhua spirit chickens came out of the beast bag, they were powerless and limp on the ground, losing the previous active and noisy appearance of hitting the earth walls and chirping. Seeing the abnormal behavior of the 7 little Sunhua chickens, Ling Pengyun raised his eyebrows slightly, and his spiritual consciousness probed into the 7 little Sunhua chickens. He found that they were fine, but they were simply too hungry, so he was relieved. I have put these 7 little pine flowers in the beast bag for more than 10 days, but I forgot to feed them. Fortunately, they are not ordinary chickens, so it's no big deal if they are hungry for a few days. After sighing, Ling Pengyun hurriedly called out some first-grade medium-quality green jade spirit rice from the storage bag to give these 7 little pine flower spirit chickens a snack, which was also a compensation for their lack of food for several days. After finishing this, Ling Pengyun left Lingxiao Mountain and came to Lingxiao Town, 1 or 2 miles away from Lingxiao Mountain, deep in the Lingxiao orchard covering an area of more than 100,000 acres. Then, he put the fruit flower beehive and the fruit flower bee colony that moved from the Qingshi orchard in the beast bag into the orchard, and told the queen bee to manage the bee colony well and not to harm the mortals in the orchard. After leaving the orchard, Ling Pengyun's imperial envoy Lu Xinggai flew directly into the city lord's mansion in the core of Lingxiao town. Because his flight was too conspicuous, Ling Pengyun was surrounded by a group of guards not long after landing in the city lord's mansion. The guards saw that the immortal Ling Pengyun, who suddenly came, was not wearing the uniform Taoist robes of the Ling family monks, but had a family token that only Ling family monks would wear around his waist. They hesitated for a moment and kept some distance from Ling Pengyun, not approaching him directly. Among the guards, an older servant asked Ling Pengyun, "This immortal, may I ask if you are from my Ling family?" "Yes, I came here to look for the city lord Lingyu." Ling Pengyun nodded slightly and said. When the older guard heard this, the alertness on his face disappeared immediately, and he quickly squeezed through the crowd and ran to a more luxurious house in the city lord's mansion. After a while, the older guard returned with a fat middle-aged man in luxurious clothes. Seeing the fat middle-aged man in front of him, Ling Pengyun smiled and called out, "Uncle Yu." Pengyun. The fat middle-aged man was slightly stunned when he heard Ling Pengyun's call. He glanced at Ling Pengyun's face and saw that he was familiar. After thinking for a while, he remembered who the immortal in front of him was. The fat middle-aged man was Ling Yu, the city lord of Lingxiao Xiaocheng. He was the son of Ling Yangxi, the fifth elder of the family, and the father of Ling Pengyun. Although he was immortal, Ling Pengyun also treated him as a junior because of the relationship between Ling Yangxi and Ling Pengyun. "Well, this time I came here, I have something to ask Uncle Yu for help." Ling Pengyun didn't want to say much, and directly stated his purpose. The fat Ling Yu was a little surprised when he heard it. It was strange for a cultivator to ask a mortal like him for help. He turned his head and waved to the surrounding guards, calling them back. When there was no one around, Ling Yu asked Ling Pengyun, "Pengyun, I'm just a mortal with limited abilities. If I can help, I will." "Uncle Yu, you can definitely help with this matter," Ling Pengyun said with a smile, and then told Ling Yu about it. He released a group of spirit bees in Lingxiao orchard, and asked Ling Yu, the city lord, to order the mortals who manage the orchard not to provoke the bees in the orchard. "So it's this matter, it's a small matter, just a word. Pengyun, I wonder how Pengyun has been doing recently? I haven't heard from her for 3 or 4 years." Ling Yu's fat face raised a touch of longing. "Don't worry, Uncle Yu, the 10th sister is fine. I haven't contacted you recently. It should be because the 10th sister was sent by the family to do a mission. Now the 10th sister has entered the formation. In time, the 10th sister may surpass the 15th ancestor's achievements in the formation," Ling Pengyun said. When Ling Yu heard this, he was overjoyed. If Pengyun can surpass her mother in the art of formation, then her brothers and sisters won't have to worry about their future lives. Although he is immortal, he also knows a thing or two about the art of formation because his mother and daughter are both cultivators. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun chatted with Ling Yu for a few words, and then flew away again with a green leaf. The main purpose of his coming to Lingxiao town this time was to inform Ling Yu, a familiar person, to warn the mortal who manages Lingxiao orchard to avoid provoking the fruit flower bee colony. After handling this matter, Ling Pengyun naturally had nothing to talk about with Ling Yu. After all, one is a cultivator and the other is immortal. As for Lingxiao town, it was originally just a small town, named Lingxiao town. Before the Ling family moved to Huaishu County, because the Ling family mountain was next door, and the surrounding area was flat and there were no high mountains, it was a good place to grow crops. Nearly 30% of the mortals of the Ling family lived in the town. Because there were tens of thousands of people in the town was also expanded into a small city. However, due to the family relocation a few years ago, more than 70% of the ordinary people in the city went to Anyang County, Huaishu County, to open up wasteland, which resulted in the population of Lingxiao town now only reaching nearly 10,000. Later, during the 10 days in Lingxiao Mountain, Ling Pengyun absorbed the breath of the power of the early sun every morning. After breakfast, he would work in the spiritual fields in the mountains with the elder Ling Rukong, watering the spiritual plants planted in the spiritual fields in the mountains with spiritual rain, or performing Lingxiao ripening technique to speed up the growth of these spiritual plants. At the end of January. On this night, in a quiet room on the second floor of the only bamboo building on the top of Lingxiao Mountain, Ling Pengyun sat cross-legged on a cushion with his eyes closed, and his spiritual consciousness was constantly injected into a vermilion beast bag floating in the air in front of him. This beast bag was obtained by Ling Pengyun after killing the evil cultivator in the late stage of key training. There was a spirit-seeking rat in the bag. After about half an hour, the floating beast bag made a subtle sound of breaking, and Ling Pengyun quietly opened his eyes at this moment. It took more than 10 days, and I finally used my spiritual sense to clean the spiritual sense imprint placed in this beast bag by the evil cultivator in the late stage of key training. Ling Pengyun secretly exclaimed, and injected a trace of spiritual power and spiritual sense into the beast bag floating in the void. With the injection of spiritual power, the vermilion beast bag flashed with spiritual light, and Ling Pengyun also used his spiritual sense to detect that the spirit-seeking rat in the beast bag still had a trace of life. The spirit-seeking rat is indeed not dead. Chapter 105, The Situation of Searching for Spiritual Rat. A smile appeared on Ling Pengyun's face. His spiritual consciousness touched the floating beast bag and called out the spirit-seeking rat in the beast bag. Although the spirit-seeking rat was not dragged to death by its late-stage key training evil master with a master recognition restriction, its current situation is not much better. It was seriously injured by the backlash of the master's death due to the master recognition restriction. In addition, it had not eaten for more than 10 days, so it only had one breath left and fell into coma. Seeing the situation of the spirit-seeking rat, Ling Pengyun sighed. If I had washed away the spiritual consciousness imprint in the beast bag a few days later and called out the spirit-seeking rat, I'm afraid it would have become a corpse. Knowing that the spirit-seeking rat could still be saved, Ling Pengyun shot out a spiritual light, slid across his fingertips, used ordinary blood as the source, and cast a master recognition restriction, which was injected into the body of the spirit-seeking rat. The soul-seeking rat had fallen into coma, and because of the death of its previous owner, it was backlashed by the master recognition restriction placed in its body by its previous owner, and its consciousness was extremely chaotic. The master recognition restriction that Ling Pengyun inserted was not hindered at all, and was easily placed in the soul-seeking rat's body. Once the master recognition restriction was completed, Ling Pengyun also felt that he had established a connection with the soul-seeking rat. In order to avoid the soul-seeking rat that he had just tamed from being seriously injured and dying after a long time, Ling Pengyun summoned the thorn vines, mobilized a trace of Yimu essence in the thorn vines, and passed it into the soul-seeking rat's body. Yimu essence originally contained a huge vitality. In some cases, this Yimu essence was enough to be used as a healing pill. Under the effect of Yimu essence, the soul-seeking rat's vitality was also a bit stronger. Seeing that the soul-seeking rat's condition had improved, Ling Pengyun immediately put it away, considering that the Yimu essence of the thorn vines was precious. Then, he took out a first-level lower spiritual fruit from the storage bag, shattered it into spiritual juice, pried open the mouth of the soul-seeking rat, and fed it little by little. Then, he mobilized his own spiritual power and poured it into the soul-seeking rat's body, helping the soul-seeking rat to refine the gentle spiritual power contained in the spiritual juice it had taken. Not long after all the spiritual juices were transformed into spiritual power and filled into the soul-seeking rat's body, Ling Pengyun activated his consciousness and woke up the unconscious soul-seeking rat. After the rat opened its eyes with difficulty, it saw a strange human cultivator in front of it, and its expression suddenly became panic. It wanted to move its body to escape, but found that as long as it moved, it would be extremely painful. In desperation, it had to beg the strange human in front of it to let it go. Ling Pengyun saw the soul-seeking rat's actions and said with a smile, "Okay, I'm your new master, I won't harm you. Make good use of the gentle spiritual power in your body to heal your injuries." With the help of the master recognition restriction, the soul-seeking rat understood the meaning of this sentence. After hearing this, the soul-seeking rat also felt that there was indeed a connection between Ling Pengyun in front of it and itself. It had only felt this connection in its previous owner, so it believed this. However, it was still a little worried. It stared at Ling Pengyun for dozens of breaths. Seeing that Ling Pengyun had not made any unusual movements, it was relieved and went into deep sleep to recuperate its body injuries. Ling Pengyun saw that the soul-seeking rat was healing its wounds and its condition was gradually getting better. His spiritual sense swept over the soul-seeking rat again, feeling the breath of the rat, and muttered, "This rat is only in the early stage of key training, and its foundation was severely damaged by the backlash of the previous owner's death and recognition of the master restriction. It's a pity. According to the cultivation level of this rat, it should be useful in a short period of time. When my cultivation level is higher and I have more spirit stones in my hands, I will also look for a spirit beast with better qualifications that is more sensitive to spiritual energy. For spirit beasts such as soul-seeking rats that are more sensitive to spiritual energy, the higher the cultivation level, the more sensitive they are to spiritual objects. The lower the cultivation level, the harder it is to sense the existence of spiritual energy. As for spiritual beasts like the soul-seeking rat, they are very useful in searching for spiritual objects, so their prices are very high, at least 30% higher than the prices of spiritual beasts of the same level. After muttering, Ling Pengyun looked at the vermilion beast controlling bag floating in front of him. This beast controlling bag is really big, with a space of 3 meters. This beast controlling bag is probably the spoils of war obtained by the evil cultivator in the late stage of key training from killing cultivators. Otherwise, the evil cultivator would not be willing to spend hundreds of spirit stones to buy this thing just to put in a soul-seeking rat that is only the size of a palm. A beast controlling bag of 3 meters in size is generally very expensive, 30% more expensive than the price of an ordinary first-level medium-grade magic weapon. On the market, a beast controlling bag of this size can be sold for at least 130 to 150 spirit stones. Even Ling Pengyun, a family cultivator who possesses 2 arts, would not be willing to use so many spirit stones just to pack a palm-sized spirit-seeking rat. Not to mention the evil cultivator in the late stage of key training who has fallen to the point of relying on ambushes to survive. It's good to have a beast controlling bag of this size. My beast controlling bag, which is only half a meter in size, is indeed a little small. It's time to change to a bigger beast controlling bag. Otherwise, Feng Yingpeng will grow a little bigger in the future, and it will be difficult to put Feng Yingpeng away at some necessary moments. Ling Pengyun waved his hand and tightly grasped the beast-controlling bag floating in front of him. He closed his eyes, poured his spiritual consciousness into it, and slowly imprinted his spiritual consciousness into it. The next day, there were only 2 days left before the Spring Festival. On this day, Lingxiao, who was managing Lingxiao's grocery store, came to Lingxiao Mountain. After greeting the elder Ling Rukong, he took Ling Pengyun away from Lingxiao Mountain. The two used flying instruments to travel for 2 days, spanning more than 3,000 miles, and finally entered the vicinity of Yang's Pengyun Mountain on the day of the Spring Festival. Before approaching Pengyun Mountain, a team of Yang clan members who used flying instruments stopped Ling Pengyun. Because Lingxiao was the son-in-law of the 5th elder of the Yang clan, the team of Yang clan members quickly let him go, and also sent a member of the Yang clan to lead the way for Ling Pengyun and Lingxiao. Pengyun Mountain is hundreds of feet high, enough to be level with the clouds in the sky. It is for this reason that this mountain is called Pengyun. The spiritual veins under the ground of Pengyun Mountain are as high as the 2nd level middle grade, and there is a set of 2nd level upper grade formations to protect them. With the leadership of the Yang clan member, Ling Pengyun and the others passed through the inspections very smoothly and entered Pengyun Mountain. Now it is the Spring Festival. Pengyun Mountain is full of joy, and festive couplets are posted in every house. After a while, Ling Pengyun and his companions, led by the Yang clan member, arrived at a courtyard where Yang Minghua, the 5th elder of the Yang clan, and Ling Pengyun's grandfather lived. My 2 Taoist friends, I have led you to the destination. I will leave first. The Yang clan member said to Ling Pengyun and his companions, and then walked away. Chapter 106, Grand Wedding Banquet. After the Yang clan member left, Lingxiao also reached out his hand and knocked on the door of the courtyard in front of him. Knock. 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 After a while, a tall and plump beautiful woman opened the gate of the courtyard. Seeing this woman, Ling Pengyun immediately smiled and shouted to the woman in front of him. Mom. Lingxiao on the other side also smiled and shouted. Madam. This beautiful lady was Ling Pengyun's mother Yang Qiuyan. When Yang Qiuyan heard the call outside the door, her eyes immediately fixed on Ling Pengyun, and a happy look appeared on her face. Husband, Xiaoyan, why are you all here? Xiaoyan is now a 1st level middle grade spiritual plant husband. Some time ago, he was sent to Pengyun Mountain by the family to take charge. This Spring Festival, our family finally had a reunion year after 5 years. Lingxiao said with a smile. When Yang Qiuyan heard that Ling Pengyun had reached the 1st level middle grade in the spiritual plant, she was shocked and her face was even more joyful. She looked at Ling Pengyun with an inquiring look. Seeing Ling Pengyun nod in confirmation, she was very happy. Good boy. She and Lingxiao have been away from the family for many years to manage the family store in Yunshu Market, just to earn more cultivation resources for Ling Pengyun. Now seeing that her child Ling Pengyun is so promising, she feels that her hard work has not been in vain. The reunion of a family is always happy. The three of them stood outside the door and chatted with each other. Most of them were Yang Qiuyan, the mother, asking about the experience of her only son Ling Pengyun stationed in Qingshi Mountain. Ling Pengyun naturally would not tell everything about these inquiries. If he told about dangerous things, it would only increase his parents' worries. He mostly talked about some good things such as discovering mineral veins in fruit flower bee colonies. The three of them chatted outside the door for half an hour. In the hall of the courtyard, Zhaohanj, who was using various spiritual silks to make dowry bedding with Yang Xiling, who was about to get married, noticed that her sister-in-law had not returned to the hall, and there were laughter and joy from time to time outside the courtyard, and she was immediately curious. She stood up and walked out of the house, and then she saw that it was her sister-in-law's husband and children who came, and now the family was chatting outside the door. Looking at the harmonious family in front of her, Zhao Hanj thought of her daughter Yang Xiling who was about to marry far away, but she was not happy in her heart, but a little sad. Although her daughter Yang Xiling married well, her husband was a descendant of a giant and strong man, which played a decisive role in both Yang Xiling's future and the entire Yang family. But it was precisely because of this that Zhao Hanj was a little afraid that her daughter who married far away would be treated unfairly after marriage. For example, her husband was tired of her daughter Yang Xiling and married a concubine in the future. If Wu Yan, the descendant of Jinden, wanted to marry a concubine, no one could stop him. Zhao Hanj looked sad and sighed helplessly. This sigh startled Ling Pengyun's family, who were happily chatting outside the courtyard gate. Ling Pengyun saw his aunt Zhao Hanj and hurriedly called her respectfully. "Aunt." Ling Xiaoshan also called out. "Sister-in-law. Pengyun, brother-in-law, you are here." Zhao Hanj was annoyed and had no intention of greeting them. She said weakly. Yang Qiuyan, who had a good relationship with Zhao Hanj, saw Zhao Hanj's sad face and immediately guessed something. She said to Ling Pengyun and his son, "You go to the inner room and sit for a while. I will chat with my sister-in-law for a while." After saying this, Yang Qiuyan walked up to Zhao Hanj and took Zhao Hanj to a secluded room to relieve Zhao Hanj's emotions. Ling Pengyun and his son went to find Yang Xiling, who was about to get married, and chatted with her. As an elder, Ling Xiaoshan had nothing to talk about with Yang Xiling, so he just watched and listened to the two cousins chatting. After chatting for a while, Ling Pengyun began to ask Yang Xiling, who was a foundation-building cultivator, about some of the difficulties in cultivation. Yang Xiling, a foundation-building cultivator, did not hide anything and answered all the questions. She also gave Ling Pengyun a copy of her experience when she broke through the foundation, so that Ling Pengyun could read it carefully before trying to break through the foundation in the future. At night, Yang Xiling, Yang Siding's family, and Yang Minghu all sat at the same table and had a happy New Year's Eve dinner. Ling Xiaoshan's parents were mortals, and they all died more than 10 years ago. Therefore, more than 10 years ago, Ling Xiaoshan's family often spent the new year at the home of the elder Yang Minghu. Ling Pengyun's grandmother, Yang Minghu's wife, was killed by an evil cultivator when she went out several years ago. It was a tragedy. She only experienced the pain of raising a child, but not the blessing of filial piety. A few days passed in the blink of an eye, and it was February 1st. On this day, hundreds of spirit birds surrounded a golden flying boat that was 10 feet long and came to the outside of Qingshi Mountain. "Junior Wu Yan of Bailing sect, I am here to welcome my first wife Yang Xiling." A young voice came from the golden flying boat and resounded throughout Qingshi Mountain. Qingshi Mountain, in a courtyard. Ling Pengyun heard the movement outside the mountain, looked up and saw the huge flying boat protected by hundreds of birds in the sky. His expression paused and he sighed. This flying boat should be the second-level upper-grade medium-sized flying boat Jinayan's Hao, which is famous for refining weapons in Bailing sect. Using this flying boat, it would be very impressive to welcome the bride. Outside the mountain, Wu Yan's voice had just fallen. The clouds in the sky of Qingshi Mountain suddenly flashed with spiritual light, and a large piece of spiritual flowers fell. As the flowers fell, the large and medium-sized flying boat Jinayan's Hao in the sky also landed in a wide area halfway up the mountain of Qingshi Mountain. As soon as the golden flying boat landed on the ground, many members of the Yang family gathered and boarded the flying boat in an orderly manner, including Yang Xiling, who was getting married this time, and Ling Pengyun's family. After a while, this huge golden flying boat turned into a spiritual light, disappeared in the air, and turned into golden light to leave this area. The next day, when the golden flying boat stopped, it came to a wide area specially vacated in the center of the square, where thousands of wine tables were placed in Balingman. The newlyweds have arrived. At the core of Balingman, a middle-aged man with the aura of a Confucian scholar floated in the air and landed next to the golden flying boat to welcome the arrival of the Yang family. This middle-aged man was Wu Yan, the newly promoted giant and strongman of Bailing sect, who was titled Ling Henrun. He was also Wu Yan's biological father. After that, Wu Yan and his wife, as well as the people of Yang family, began the usual wedding banquet process, such as worshipping in the hall. After these customs were completed, Ling Henrun Wu Yan said happily, "The wedding banquet has officially begun. All the guests, please start eating." After these words fell, the cultivators present dared to start eating. Although Ling Pengyun's family was a member of the Ling family, only one person from the Ling family came this time, that is, the clan leader Ling Yanhong. Ling Yanhong sat at the wine table exclusively for foundation building cultivators. Therefore, Ling Pengyun's family could only eat with the Yang family. There were many delicious things at this wedding banquet. First of all, everyone could get a first-level lower-grade spiritual fruit at the banquet, and the dishes were even more abundant. Such as the chicken soup cooked by the first-grade high-quality spirit chicken, the snake soup of the demon snake, the stir-fried demon beast meat, the big pig's trotter of the copper gong pig. This banquet can only be described in one word: grand. These dishes tasted pretty good, all cooked by the many spirit chefs of Balingman who worked overtime, and they also contained a lot of spiritual energy. Many guests were very satisfied with the food. Chapter 107 Calling for the Extermination of Demons. After about an hour, all the guests attending the wedding banquet had almost finished their meals. Ling Henrun once again took to the air and used the sound amplification technique to speak loudly. "Since you have almost finished eating, I will tell you something. Except for my Balingman disciples, everyone present here is a cultivator from a family in my Balingman territory or a relatively strong individual cultivator. If you count carefully, there are only about 20 years left before the 100-year monster chaos breaks out in Jiamang Lake. My Balingman plans to take advantage of this opportunity that everyone is gathered here to call on you to follow my Balingman and once again attack the Yaomang Lake territory to kill a group of monsters. First, it can ease the pressure on the cultivators in my Balingman territory during the monster chaos in the near future. Second, we can seize another piece of land to establish a new county. All key training families in my Balingman territory must send 10 cultivators with cultivation above the middle stage of key training, and foundation building families must send 1 foundation building cultivator and 30 cultivators with cultivation above the middle stage of key training to respond to my Balingman call. If anyone disobeys, my Balingman will take back their spiritual veins and exterminate the entire clan. As for you, the independent cultivators, including those who did not attend the wedding banquet, all of you must. Don't be lucky like more than 10 years ago when my Bailing sect fought for the Huaishu County, 1,000 miles of land, from the Jiamang Lake. You want to escape this battle by leaving my Bailing sect's territory. The other 4 major sects in the entire Yan state and even the territories of the other several countries around will basically take the initiative to attack the various monster beast territories and kill a group of monster beasts in the near future like my Bailing sect, and reduce the intensity of the monster beast chaos. No matter where you go, fighting with monster beasts is inevitable. Within 3 months, you must rush to the Huaishu market to assemble as required. During this period, my Bailing sect will have nearly 1,000 cultivators patrolling in various counties, prefectures, and states. Once anyone is found to have escaped from the territory, beheaded. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar. To the north of the Bailing sect's territory is a boundless and vast marshland. As one of the largest gathering places for monsters in the northern wilderness, there are countless monsters in the vast marsh, including foundation-building monsters and even terrifying existences such as the Golden Core Monster King and the Yuanying Monster King. There are even legends that in the depths of the boundless vast marsh, there is a demon lord in the god-transforming stage who can kill the Yuanying True Lord with a wave of his hand. Although the god-transforming demon lord is far away for the Bailing sect in Yan state, There is a presence that poses a great threat to the Bailing Sect's territory, which is Jiayamang Lake, hundreds of thousands of miles south of the Bailing Sect's territory. There are 2 giant stage dragons in Jiayamang Lake, and a large number of monsters live within the hundreds of thousands of miles of territory of the 2 giant dragons. These monsters reproduce safely under the protection of the dragons and have produced a large number of offspring. Whenever the hundreds of thousands of miles of territory around the Jiayamang Lake are unable to bear the huge number of monsters, the 2 giant dragons with spiritual wisdom will call on the monsters in the territory to attack the nearby Bailing Sect once every 100 years. In this way, if the Bailing Sect is successfully repelled, more human territory can be occupied, and the territory of Jiayamang Lake can be expanded. If it fails, the huge group of monsters in the territory of Jiayamang Lake can be consumed, so as to prevent the hundreds of thousands of miles of territory of Jiayamang Lake from being overwhelmed, and a large-scale monster-crushing situation will occur. The reason why the monsters of Jiayamang Lake and even the entire Kangmang Lake will launch an attack on the human territory once 100 years is also because the Yuanying's engine of the major forces of the human race in the northern wilderness and the monster king of Kangmang Lake have fought many times and set a rule together. Among the thousands of wine tables, Ling Pengyun, who was sitting at the same table with Yang Qiujiang's family, heard the words, looked at Yang Minghua, the grandfather, and Yang Qiujiang and Zhao Hanja and his wife. Seeing that they looked normal, as if they had known that this would happen, his brows suddenly frowned and he muttered to himself, "No wonder brother-in-law Wu Yan announced his marriage to my cousin in such a high-profile manner when many families and independent cultivators from the Bailing Sect gathered at the Hua issue meeting. It turns out he was waiting for today. Brother-in-law Wu Yan must have been approved by his father, Ling Fuzianrun. The marriages of their children are all taken advantage of. My aunt's worry that my cousin will not have a good life if she marries brother-in-law Wu Yan seems to be not without reason." After sighing, Ling Pengyun turned his attention to the Bailing Sect's recruitment of cultivators and the initiative to attack the Jiayamang Lake territory. There are only about 40 members of the family who are above the middle stage of key training, even if the older generation is included. As one of the 9 late-stage key training cultivators in the family, I will most likely be led by the family to respond to the call of Bailingman. 3 months should be enough for me to comprehend the operation method of the earthly evil sword formation. By then, even if I need to fight with monsters, I will have some confidence. As early as November last year when Ling Pengyun was still stationed in Qingshi Mountain, he had already comprehended the sword tactics of the earthly evil sword formation and sought out Ling Ruqian, who was stationed in the Zuanshu mine in Qingshi Lake, to ask for the operation method of the earthly evil sword formation. It is not difficult to comprehend the operation method of the sword formation, and it can be comprehended in a short time. During the time when Ling Pengyun was distracted, the spirit talisman master spoke again. "Please rest assured, everyone. As long as you respond to the call of our Bailing Sect and enter Jiayamang Lake, you will be eligible to obtain contribution points from our Bailing Sect by killing monsters and exchange them for many spiritual objects. There are so many spiritual objects that I will not introduce them one by one. Please look up and take a look." After saying this, Ling Fuzianrun flicked his sleeves and summoned a palm-sized round mirror. As soon as this round mirror was summoned, it quickly grew larger. In just a moment, this round mirror grew to a size of hundreds of feet. On the mirror surface, small golden characters appeared one by one. These small characters are the many spiritual objects that can be exchanged for contribution points obtained by killing monsters in this battle to eliminate monsters. These many spiritual objects are relatively rare and precious on the market. The first one is the foundation building pill, which is extremely important for key training cultivators. This time, Bailing Sect has taken out 10 foundation building pills. Below the foundation building pill is the second-class foundation building spiritual object Bailing Water, which has a total of 30 portions. However, the contribution points required to exchange for foundation building pills and Bailing Water are extremely high. The former requires 30,000 contribution points to exchange, and the latter requires 10,000 contribution points to exchange. The prices of both items are slightly higher than those on the market. The mirror also shows the contribution gained by killing and handing over the corpse of a demon beast of each grade. Handing over the corpse of a demon beast in the early, middle, late, and perfect stages of key training can earn 5, 10, 15, and 20 contribution points respectively. Handing over the corpse of a demon beast in the early, middle, late, and perfect stages of foundation building can earn 500, 1,000, and 1,500 contribution points respectively, excluding the inner pill of the demon beast of foundation building. The price of such demon beasts is not much different from that of demon beasts on the market. The nearly 1,000 cultivators from various families and independent cultivators who attended the wedding banquet did not have any objections. It was nothing more than using contribution points of equal value instead of spirit stones. What's more, among the spiritual objects that can be exchanged this time, there are many foundation-building spiritual objects that are rare in the outside world. Some powerful independent foundation-building cultivators, or some old established foundation-building families, are already planning how many monsters they should hunt in order to exchange for a foundation-building pill. Chapter 108 12 First Class Superior Kingling Swords. In the crowd, Ling Pengyun looked up at the names of the spiritual objects that appeared on the huge mirror floating in the sky. In the end, his eyes only stayed on the three objects: Bailing Water, Pulse Protection Pill, and 50-year-old Yunsan Spiritual Water. As for the foundation building pill, although Ling Pengyun also wanted it, the contribution points required to exchange for the foundation building pill were too many. Not to mention Ling Pengyun alone, even if the entire Ling family came out together, it would be difficult to earn such a huge amount of contribution points by hunting monsters in this battle. Bailing Water, although he and his family had agreed to jointly invest in the purchase of second-class spiritual objects in his early years, he now has 200 arts, which is enough to earn a sum of spiritual stones, and he does not need to worry about not having a second-class foundation-building spiritual object to assist in the foundation-building attempt in the future. But he is not alone. He also has his own spiritual plant, the thorn vine, and a little fingine pen. Bailing Water is made by the Bailing sect with a liquid of various high-level spiritual medicines and a secret method. It is not much different from the spiritual water of heaven and earth, and it also has an effect on spiritual plants and monsters. Ling Pengyun also had a glimmer of hope. The two helpers, the thorn vine and the little fingine pen, could enter the foundation building period in the future, especially the life spirit plant. If he failed to build a foundation in the future, but the thorn vine succeeded, he could also use the powerful spiritual power of the thorn vine to break through the grade and enter the foundation building period to try to build a foundation again. The pulse protection pill can also be regarded as a second-class foundation building spiritual object, which can help the cultivators break through the foundation building process. It needs 5,000 contribution points to exchange. Yunsan Spiritual Water is the same as the Diquan Spiritual Milk that Ling Pengyun bought at the Huaishu conference. It is just that this Yunsan Spiritual Water is a kind of spiritual water for cultivation, which can improve the cultivation of the swallower. It needs 300 contribution points to exchange. Ling Pengyun looked at the price of Yunsan Spiritual Water on the huge mirror in the sky. His eyes kept flashing, and he muttered to himself, "If I can take advantage of this opportunity to exchange for the Bailing Water and the second-grade Superior Meridian Protecting Pill that are hard to buy in the outside world, my chances of building a foundation will be increased by half. It's just that the contribution points required to exchange for these two items are too many. I am more likely to exchange for the 50-year-old Yunsan Spiritual Water. The Diquan Spiritual Milk, which was used for healing at the same level as the Yunsan Spiritual Water, only had 30% of its medicinal power, which could improve the cultivation of the thorn vines for 2 or 3 years. The effect of the Yunsan Spiritual Water, the spiritual water for cultivation, must be stronger. If I can exchange for a few sips of this spiritual water and give it to the thorn vines to consume, it is possible that the thorn vines can break through the grade again in a short period of time and reach the first grade superior grade, and I can also enjoy the spiritual energy of my own spiritual plant to feed back and break through the cultivation again. And the grade of my spiritual plant will also reach the first grade superior grade." Thinking of this, Ling Pengyun's face suddenly showed a touch of longing. Although the Ling family is a spiritual plant family, and spiritual plants are prevalent in the family, only the elder Ling Ruda and the clan leader Ling Yunhuan can reach the first-class upper grade in spiritual plants. Ling Pengyun has now comprehended the second level of Lingxiao ripening technique to perfection. He is sure that within 3 years, he can comprehend the third level of this spiritual plant's secret method. If the spiritual plant's secret method reaches the third level, if the grade of the natal spiritual plant reaches the late stage of key training, Ling Pengyun will naturally become a first-class upper-grade spiritual plant husband. The floating Ling Fu's Henren saw that the people from the outer sect present had different expressions, and he didn't want to say much, so he drove them away. This wedding banquet is over. Ling Fu's Henren, a giant and strong man, personally drove people away, so naturally no one dared to stay for long, and they all left the Bailing sect together. However, Ling Pengyun's family and the Yang clan members who were related to the hostess of this wedding banquet, Yang Xiling, were left behind. Several Bailing sect disciples found the Yang clan members and Ling Pengyun's family who were sitting at the banquet, and told everyone in the same words, "You are all honored guests of our Bailing sect. The wedding banquet is over. Please go to the side hall to rest and wait for the dinner to start. 3 days later, someone from our sect will send you back to Qingshi Mountain. You just need to eat and drink well during these 3 days." Just as Ling Pengyun was secretly sighing that he had a good meal and was about to follow the Yang clan members to the side hall of Bailing sect, Ling Yunhong, who was about to leave Bailing sect, came up. Ling Yunhong took Ling Pengyun to a corner nearby, set up a soundproof band within 10 feet around him, and spoke. "Pengyun, you have also heard about the call of Bailingmen this time. 3 months later, the family needs to send out 30 clansmen to participate in the battle for the territory. I plan to let you join them." The family was originally a key training family. It has only been 8 years since it became a foundation-building family. There are not many cultivators in the family who are above the late stage of key training. However, this battle to kill monsters is very dangerous. Only if the family fights with all its strength can it be possible to save more clansmen who participate in this battle. If you are willing to join, your father cannot participate in this battle, and he can still be in the rear Yunshu market to manage the store. Ling Pengyun thought about this matter clearly early on. Now that he knew that he could save his father, who was only at the 5th level of key training, from the battle to kill monsters, he nodded without any hesitation and replied, "Of course I am willing." When the family is in danger, tall people naturally need to come out to face the danger. Although Ling Pengyun's cultivation is not high, he is ranked in the top 15 in the Ling family. He can barely be said to be a tall man among the short people. He is my good son of the Ling family. Ling Yunhong said with great satisfaction, and then asked, "Pengyun, have you comprehended the earthly evil sword formation?" "I have comprehended the earthly evil sword art, and I just need to know how to operate the earthly evil sword formation. Before the battle with Bailingmen begins, I will definitely comprehend it all and be able to use it," Ling Pengyun told him honestly. Hearing this, Ling Yunhong's face lit up, and he patted the storage bag on his waist, waved his hand and summoned 12 3-foot-long green flying swords, handed them to Ling Pengyun, and spoke. "Very good. I know that you have a high level of comprehension. This set of 12 green bamboo swords are all of first-grade superior quality. They are made by me using the first-grade superior green spirit bamboo of my family that is 100 years old. The quality is very good. When you comprehend the complete earthly evil sword formation, this set of flying swords will be very powerful when used to form the earthly evil sword formation. This set of sword formation is a gift to you. It is also a kind of compensation for you, a person of 100 arts, who has to fight on the battlefield." Ling Pengyun saw the set of green bamboo swords handed over, and his eyes were full of joy. He had a headache before for activating the flying swords of the earthly evil sword formation. Now that Ling Yunhong gave him a sword, he naturally would not be polite. He reached out to take it, looked at it, and put it in the storage bag. "Thank you, third ancestor. It doesn't matter. Come back to the clan with me. Otherwise, if you go back to the clan by yourself in the future, it will take a lot of time," Ling Yunhong said. Ling Pengyun hesitated for a moment and thought it was a good idea. The people of Bailingmen would only send the Yang clan members back to Qingshi Mountain. By then, he would have to travel more than 10,000 miles from Qingshi Mountain to Lingxiao Mountain, which would be a waste of time. "Okay, I'll go and tell my parents." After Ling Pengyun finished speaking, he quickly walked to Ling Xiaoshan and his wife and told them what Ling Yunhong had just said about him participating in the war to kill monsters. As for the fact that his participation in the war would save Ling Xiaohu from participating in the war, he did not say it. Although Ling Xiaoshan and his wife were worried that Ling Pengyun would be in danger in the future war to kill monsters, they did not say much. As one of the few late-stage key training cultivators in the Ling family, Ling Pengyun really needed to stand up when the family encountered difficulties. This was the responsibility and obligation of a family cultivator. The parents just asked Ling Pengyun to pay attention to safety in the war to kill monsters. Afterwards, Ling Pengyun followed Ling Yunhong and rode the immortal crane king who had perfected key training and flew away from Bailingmen. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109, Secret Discussion Among Bailingman's Top Leaders. Deep inside Bailingman, there is a place with rich spiritual energy. Under a towering tree that is dozens of feet high, there is a small wooden table. In front of the small wooden table, there are 3 people with extraordinary temperament. One of them is Lingxiao Maturation, who just hosted the wedding banquet. The other 2 are a fat middle-aged man wearing a golden Taoist robe, and an old man with flowing white hair and wearing a Taoist robe with star patterns. The fat middle-aged man in the golden Taoist robe is called Chen Fu. He is the current leader of Bailingman. His cultivation is as high as the middle stage of Jinden. He inherited the Taoist name of the successive leaders of Bailingman and is called Lingxiao. As for the white-haired old man, he is the leader of the Lingxiao Hall of Bailingman, Lingxiao Maturation, who is stationed in Huaishu Market all year round and is one of the 3 Jinden of the sect. It is rare for the 3 Jindens Henren of Bailingman to gather together this time, all because of the demon extermination that is about to be launched. Bailingxiao Chen Fu, the leader of the sect, was the first to speak. The 100-year monster rebellion is only 20 years away. Baiyun City has sent a message half a month ago, requiring our sect to send a Jinden, 50 foundation-building cultivators, and 500 disciples above the middle stage of key training to garrison in Baiyun City to prevent the monsters in the Baiyun Mountains from attacking Baiyun Mountain in advance. Garrisoning in Baiyun City is rather dangerous. Your cultivation is only at the early Jinden stage, so it's safer for me to go. Therefore, this time the sect's attempt to seize territory in the Jiamang Lake area will depend entirely on Uncle Mo and junior brother Wu. If we can occupy another 10,000 miles of territory in the Jiamang Lake like we did 8 years ago and establish a new county city, my Bailing sect will have a much higher annual income, which is good for both you and me. Baiyun City is a city built jointly by the 5 major sects in the Yan state, thousands of miles away from the Baiyun Mountains. The Baiyun Mountains are the largest gathering place for monsters that the Yan state has to face in the vast swamp, and there are more than 5 Jinden monsters in the mountains. Whenever the 100-year monster rebellion was approaching, the 5 major sects of Yan state would send people to Baiyun City to guard it, in order to prevent Baiyun City from being lost and causing the monsters in the Baiyun Mountains to invade the heartland of Yan State. Upon hearing this, Lingxiao Henren Wu Dan, who had just entered the Jinden stage for only a few years, suddenly showed a worried look on his face, and said to Chen Fu and Mo Kongson in front of him with concern, "Brother Chen, Uncle Mo, are you really confident in the battle to exterminate demons that we have initiated this time? If we still want to occupy the territory within 1,000 miles of Jiamang Lake, as we did 8 years ago, it is bound to attract the 2 Jinden dragons in Jiamang Lake to come out of the lake together. The strength of the 2 Jinden early-stage dragons in Jiamang Lake is comparable to that of ordinary Jinden middle-stage cultivators. 8 years ago, the 3 of us joined forces with the help of the Yan'ang Sky Sword formation to barely repel them. What's more, Brother Chen, you need to go to Baiyun City this time. Only Uncle Wu, who is at the 3rd level of Jinden, and I will fight in this battle." The white-haired Mo Kongson smiled and said, "Don't worry. In the last battle when we occupied the territory of Huaishu County 8 years ago, I used the Yan'ang Xianjin formation of Huaishu City to enter the inner elixir of the Jinden early water dragon in Jiamang Lake. Let alone 8 years, even if we gave it 100 years, it might not be able to recover from the injury to its stanchion. Now the strength of the Jinden early water dragon is only 50% at most, which is no different from an ordinary Jinden early monster. In this battle, as long as you use the 3 Jinden early puppets of the sect to delay the seriously injured water dragon, I will definitely be able to recreate the battle 8 years ago and use the Yan'ang Xianjin formation to severely damage the other ice dragon. After that, even if we have to consume our strength, we can still defeat the 2 Jinden dragons and then repel them." Having said this, Mo Kongson stopped talking, his expression slightly condensed. He looked at the sect master Chen Fu, and then at the towering tree dozens of feet high beside him. "However, don't forget that you promised me that after the matter was accomplished, you would give my grandson the evergreen spirit fruit, that this evergreen spirit tree would condense in 20 years, which could help him break through the golden core." Chen Fu's thick eyelids sank slightly, and a flash of displeasure flashed across his face, but it was fleeting. Instead, a smile appeared on his face and he spoke. Uncle Mo, don't worry. My nephew Mo is one of the most outstanding talents in my Bailing sect. Even if there is no battle to kill the demon, the evergreen spirit fruit that the evergreen spirit tree would condense in 20 years would be given to my nephew Mo. Mo Kongxin's grandson is named Mo Kaiankyu, and he is one of the deputy hall masters of the Bailing sect's spiritual array hall. Mo Kaiankyu is very talented. He is a cultivator with both earth and wood spiritual roots. Although the attributes of his spiritual roots are mutually restrained, he has learned a special technique to solve the problem of attribute restrained, which makes the spiritual roots complement each other and increases the speed of cultivation. Now, Mo Kaiankyu is only over 90 years old, but he has already reached the 7th level of foundation building. He has also inherited the true teachings of his grandfather and is a high-level 2nd-level middle-grade array master. In Bailing sect, Mo Kaiankyu is also known as the first genius in array formations and is regarded by the array masters in the Spirit Array Hall as the next 3rd-level array master to succeed Mo Kongxin. As for the Chanking Spirit Tree, it is a 3rd-level middle-grade spiritual tree and the spiritual plant of Bailing sect. This tree can produce Chanking Spirit fruit, which is of great benefit to cultivators. Chanking spirit fruits that are more than 10 or dozens of years old can be used as miasma-breaking pills to help cultivators break through the minor level. Chanking spirit fruits that are 100 years old are also helpful for foundation building. The Bailing water that flows out of Bailing sect to the outside world is made from this fruit and mixed with several kinds of precious spiritual plant juices. This tree can produce 300 years of evergreen spiritual fruit at most. This spiritual fruit can increase the probability of a cultivator breaking through the golden elixir by 10%. Although the success rate is not high, it is better than breaking through the golden elixir without spiritual objects. It is also because of this tree that Bailingman has been able to stand in Yan state for thousands of years. Mo Kongxin heard this, but he did not trust him much. He has been in contact with Chen Fu for more than 200 years. He knows Chen Fu's character very well. Chen Fu is a smiling tiger, saying one thing in front of people and another behind their backs. Moreover, he heard that one of Chen Fu's disciples has entered the perfect foundation building these days. It is possible that the spiritual object that Chen Fu promised to break through the golden elixir will fall into the hands of his disciple who has perfected the foundation building in 20 years. I hope so. Mo Kongxin said coldly. On the other side, after Ling Pengyun followed Ling Yanhuang and left Bailingman on the Immortal Crane King, he first went to Lingxiao Mountain and informed Ling Rukuang of the details of the Bailingman summons and that Ling Pengyun would postpone his succession to this mountain indefinitely. In addition, Ling Pengyun also took Xiao Fenggyang away. As for the 100 flower bees and the 7 small Sunhua chickens, Ling Pengyun handed them over to the old man Ling Rukuang to take care of. After completing these tasks, Ling Pengyun and the others set off again. The Immortal Crane King was very fast, and it only took 2 days to return from Lingxiao Mountain to Lingxiao Mountain. As soon as Ling Pengyun returned to Lingxiao Mountain, he returned to his residence in Lingxiao Mountain. In order to prepare for the battle to destroy the demons 3 months later, he immediately entered into seclusion. Ling Pengyun's purpose for this seclusion was very clear. First, to fully comprehend the method of running the sword formation of the earthly evil sword art. Second, to sacrifice and refine the set of 12 first-grade superior green bamboo swords. Third, to comprehend the first-grade superior water blade technique. Cultivation requires a long history, and it is difficult to see results in a short period of time, so Ling Pengyun gave up directly. Only when he felt mentally tired when comprehending sword formations or spells, Ling Pengyun would practice the exercises and absorb spiritual energy to restore his spirit. As for comprehending the secrets of spiritual plants, refining techniques, etc., which did not improve his strength, Ling Pengyun briefly gave up. As for replacing Ling Rukuang to garrison Lingxiao Mountain, it can only be postponed indefinitely. Thanks, book friend 201901272230499905, Star Sky and I'm Not a Big African, Thunderstorm, Dream and Dream Tea, 3 Alliances Oath Difficult to Disappear, book friend 201908110402081166, book friend 201,704,101,919,968, If This Life, Brother Wong, Worker, Poetry Dream Fat Fairy, Book Famine Request, Carving I Time, I'm Xiaoxin, 15,955,517,535. Thousands of strangers, I'm Hongjin, book friend 2, 0191229010916639, book friend 201708230943514193, Comms Nail, Evanescent Trace 2011, Starry Sky and Pirate Ship Zhanghutu, Xiano loves astronomy, book friend 2011021015114448, One Hand Covering, The Rest of Life, book friend 202209121653386539, Yor, book friend 160,904,124,921,409, Dream World monthly ticket. Thanks to Soul Tiom for the reward. Thank you all for your support, and I will speed up the progress. I sincerely thank you all for your support. Chapter 110 Ling Yanhong's Concerns. Ling Yanhong, who returned to the family with Ling Pengyun, found the great elder Ling Ruda, the fifth elder Ling Yangxi, and the sixth elder Ling Yanqian, who was rare in the family, after stepping onto Lingxiao Mountain. The sixth elder Ling Yanqian ranked 8th in the Yun generation, and his cultivation reached the perfection of key training. He often brought several members of the Ling family with higher cultivation, drove several mountain opening cattle raised by the Ling family to pull the spiritual objects harvested by the Ling family every year, and sent them to the Huaishufeng market, Yunshufeng market and the markets opened by the other 4 major families in Huaishu County, and to the family-run shops. This job is extremely tiring, and there are only 10 days of rest every year. From time to time, when transporting spiritual objects, they will encounter evil cultivators who are blinded by interests and fight. This also caused Ling Yunqian to suffer a lot of injuries over the years, and there are still several hidden injuries that have not healed. The long-term injuries have damaged his foundation, and he is only 76 now, and the whole person looks no different from Ling Ruda, who is over 100 years old. At the top of Lingxiao Mountain, in the meeting hall, after summoning the 3 elders of the clan leader Ling Yanhong told everyone in detail about the wedding banquet of Wu Yan, the descendant of Ling Fu's Henren, and Yang Xiling, in which Ling Fu's Henren called on all the cultivators in the Bailingman territory to take the initiative to attack the Yaomang Lake territory, and that his own foundation-building clan was forced to send 1 foundation-building cultivator and 30 cultivators above the middle stage of key training to participate in the war. After listening to Ling Yanhong's story, the other 3 elders frowned, and they were somewhat dissatisfied with the overbearing arrangement of the Bailingmen. 8 years ago, the Bailingmen had just seized their Huaishu County, and now they are taking the initiative to provoke a war. I don't know what they are thinking. The 5th elder Ling Yangxi complained. The Bailing sect now has 3 giant masters and is at its peak. It is reasonable that they would start a war in a short period of time. The great elder Ling Ruda frowned and spoke a few words. Then he took out the roster of family members from his storage bag, looked through it, and began to speak. The 30 mid and late stage key training cultivators required by Bailingmen are a bit difficult for our family now. We currently have 4 cultivators who have reached the perfect stage of key training, 9 cultivators who have reached the late stage of key training, and 29 cultivators who are in the middle stage of key training. If the whole family works together, we can indeed gather the number of people required by Bailingmen. However, apart from some cultivators who have reached the perfect stage of key training, those who are in the late stage of key training, and those who are in the middle stage of key training who really cannot leave, among the 30 key training cultivators who respond to Bailingman's call, 5 will be the youngest members of the Peng generation in the clan. The members of the Peng generation have basically only completed the mission of guarding the clan mountain for a few years. Except for Pengsing, the other young members of the Peng generation basically do not have much practical experience. In the battle to exterminate monsters, there will probably be some casualties, Ling Yanhong said in a deep voice. The shortage of manpower is not only happening in my Ling family. I believe that the other 4 foundation-building families in Huaishu County have also encountered such problems. Before the war, I will discuss with the patriarchs of the other 4 families to avoid the front line of fighting with the monsters in Jiayamang Lake and instead help Bailingmen capture some second-level spirit veins. Although this will earn fewer contribution points, it is safer and not too dangerous. I have also thought of the candidates for the Peng generation to join the war to exterminate monsters. They are the 3rd Peng Xing, the 8th Peng Yun, the 9th Peng Cheng, the 10th Peng Lin, the 12th Peng Qing, the 14th Peng Bai, and the 16th Peng Liang. These 7 Peng generation clansmen are all those with some qualifications in the Peng generation. We can take advantage of this opportunity to train them. The family can continue to support idle people. The clan is now somewhat wealthy. When these 30 clansmen above the middle stage of key training follow me to fight, the clan will take out more talismans, elixirs, and better magic tools to distribute. What I'm really worried about is old Demon Li, who was severely injured by me and the foundation building cultivators from the other 4 families in Huaishu County 4 years ago. Although old Demon Li's life-saving magic weapon, the Thousand Ghost Banner, was destroyed, it will be difficult for him to recover his full strength in a short time. But once I take those 30 clansmen away from the clan mountain, there will be no foundation building cultivator in the clan. Among the 5 major families in Huaishu County, only the wife of the patriarch of the Luoxiluo clan, Lingxiao, has foundation building cultivation. But Lingxiao is only in the early stage of foundation building and cannot intimidate old Demon Li at all. Once the foundation building cultivators like me in Huaishu County are summoned by the Bailing sect to leave Huaishu County, old Demon Li, who has been hiding in the dark all these years, will definitely revive and take the opportunity to retaliate against our 5 major families. At the wedding banquet of Yang Xiling and Wu Yan not long ago, among the 5 major foundation building families in Huaishu County, only the Ling family, which had a good relationship with the Yang family, had foundation building cultivators attending. The other 4 major families only sent elders of the clan with gifts. Huaishu County is at the end of the vast territory occupied by Bailingmen. The journey is long, and the foundation building cultivators in these families are afraid that the family will be in danger during this period of time. After these words came out, Ling Ruda and the other 2 elders realized that the real thing that Ling Yunhong summoned them to discuss this time, and what Ling Yunhong said was also somewhat based on facts. Their faces suddenly became gloomy, and even a few traces of fear appeared in their expressions. Demon cultivators have always been vindictive, and they will definitely get back if they suffer losses. The same is true for Li Laomo, who has been famous in Yunshu County for many years. Decades ago, when the Ling family was still a key training family in Yunshu County, they had heard that a person from a key training family in Yunshu County killed a direct disciple of Li Laomo. For this matter, Li Laomo led hundreds of key training demon cultivators under his command and destroyed the key training family overnight, declaring hegemony. 4 years ago, Ling Yunhuang and 5 other foundation building monks from Huaishu County not only severely injured Li Laomo but also killed more than 90% of his hundreds of disciples. Ling Ruda and others did not believe that Li Laomo would keep swallowing this kind of hatred. Ling Yunhong, who had heard of Li Laomo's character, followed Wen Xianayan, the patriarch of the Yun Wen family, and others to attack Li Laomo's lair and let Li Laomo escape. He knew that if Li Laomo was not willing to give up. But at that time, Li Laomo had to be destroyed, otherwise Li Laomo would definitely destroy the Yun Wen family. With the help of the many mortals of the Yun Wen family, he would become particularly powerful. After the Yun Wen family was destroyed, the other 4 newly established and weak foundation building families in Huaishu County would not be able to survive. In the meeting room, Ling Yunqian, the 6th elder who often traveled to Huaishu Market, was immersed in thought for a few breaths. Thinking of what he had just heard from his friend from Bailingmen a few days ago, there was a magical weapon in Bailingmen. His eyes suddenly lit up and he had an idea, but he did not speak it out directly, but asked Ling Yunhong first. "Third brother, if I give you and the other 4 foundation building cultivators a chance, are you sure you can destroy that old demon Li?" Chapter 111 Ask Wu Yan for help. Ling Yunhong thought for a moment and spoke. In the battle 4 years ago, Li Laomo's life magic weapon, the Thousand Ghost Banner, was destroyed. The damage to the life magic weapon backfired and injured him severely. With Li Laomo in such a serious state, let alone the 5 foundation building cultivators from Huaishu County attacking at the same time, even if I fight him alone, I will not be defeated. And the patriarch of the Luoxiluo family, Luo Minghu, who is in the late foundation building stage, is enough to kill him alone. After hearing the answer, Ling Yunhong felt a little relieved and immediately spoke out the solution he had come up with. "I have 2 ideas. The first is to ask the foundation building cultivators of the Pengyun Yang clan to stay in the clan mountain and intimidate Li Laomo after you, third brother, leave Huaishu County with your clansmen to respond to the call of Bailingmen. This method is relatively safe, but it only treats the symptoms and not the root cause. In the future, Li Lao Mo will eventually look for an opportunity to retaliate against our family. The second is to quietly sneak back to Huaishu County from the Jiamang Lake with the foundation building cultivators of the other 4 major families after you. Third brother, lead your clansmen to leave Huaishu County to participate in the war, and secretly ambush Li Lao Mo, who may attack the mortal clansmen and clan mountains of the 5 major families in Huaishu County. This method is indeed good, but if I delay the task assigned to my Ling family by Bailing sect, it will be troublesome if Bailing sect blames me. Moreover, Li Lao Mo is suspicious by nature, and he will definitely arrange spies to observe the cultivators from Huaishu County who are participating in the battle. Once the foundation building cultivators from the 5 major families in Huaishu County leave together, Li Lao Mo will definitely notice it and dare not show up. Ling Yanhong directly refused. Ling Yanqian smiled. Third brother, I have a good friend who is a disciple of Bailing sect. From him, I heard that Bailing sect has a magic weapon called illusion mask. Doesn't the Yang family have a daughter who became a Taoist partner with Wu Yan, the Lingfu's Henrin of Bailing sect? We can use this relationship to operate for our own benefit and let Wu Yan, the descendant of Jinden, borrow the illusion mask from Bailing sect, which is said to be difficult for any cultivator below Jinden to see through. Then let a trustworthy person wear this mask and disguise himself as a foundation-building cultivator from one of the 5 families in Huaishu County. By then, even if old Demon Li personally goes to the Huaishu County's expeditionary cultivator team, I'm afraid he will find it difficult to see through the disguise of the illusion mask. You can also use the illusion mask to escape and sneak back to Huaishu County to guard against old Demon Li. If old Demon Li is still hiding in the dark, we can rest assured. If old Demon Li shows up, we can also kill him and everyone will be happy. The illusion mask is a very famous magic weapon in Bailing sect. The grade of this magic weapon is as high as the 2nd grade upper grade. As long as you put on this mask, not only can your face change, but also your temperament and breath can change. Moreover, this mask is said to be invisible to no cultivator below the Jinden stage. This is indeed true. Even ordinary cultivators who have completed their foundation building can hardly see through it. Only some cultivators with extremely strong spiritual awareness can see through this mask. Such a powerful effect also makes this illusion mask a coveted item for many cultivators who have caused trouble and dare not show their true faces in the world. However, the refining materials of this item are very rare, so Bailing sect has not circulated it to the outside world. It has been kept in the sect by Bailing sect. Ordinary deacons of the foundation building in Bailing sect have difficulty in contacting it. Only the hall masters of each hall of Bailing sect can borrow 1 or 2. Ling Yanhong's face lit up when he heard this. Everyone discussed it again and all agreed with the attention that Ling Yanqian said. After the meeting, Ling Yanhong hurriedly rode the immortal Crane King to leave Lingxiao Mountain. He traveled thousands of miles to the foot of Yang's Pengyun Mountain and found Ling Xiaoshan and his wife who had returned from Bailingmen with the Yang's monks. Through Ling Xiaoshan and his wife's relationship, he found Yang Xiling and Wu Yan, a Taoist couple who had just returned from Bailingmen to Pengyun Mountain to hold a homecoming family banquet less than 3 days after their marriage. Yang Xiling and his wife also gave face to the elders Ling Xiaoshan and his wife and met Ling Yanhong. Halfway up Pengyun Mountain, in a quiet room, Ling Yanhong and Yang Xiling and his wife sat in front of a small table. Wu Yan, a descendant of the Golden Caller, was not stupid. Naturally, he guessed that Ling Yanhong must have come to him for something, so he asked directly. Does the Ling clan leader have something to ask you? Ling Yanhong smiled and said. Yes, since you asked so, I will make it short without wasting time. The reason I came here this time is, firstly, to borrow your sect's illusion mask, and secondly, in the upcoming genocide war, I would like to ask you to find a few foundation-building monks and use these borrowed illusion masks to disguise yourself as the 5 great foundation-building monks in my Huaishu County. Ling Yanhong had just finished speaking when the beautiful Yang Xiling, who had been sitting quietly beside Wu Yan, used the sound transmission technique that only foundation-building monks could perform to reach her husband Wu Yan. My husband, the Ling family and my mother's Yang family are relatives. My Yang family can use the Ling family. If the Ling family's foundation is damaged by the matter of Li Lao Mo, resulting in a significant reduction in the strength of the Ling family, it will have an impact on my mother's family. If my husband thinks this is feasible, please try to agree. If it is really difficult, you can refuse in a gentle tone. Wu Yan saw his newly married wife Yang Xiling persuading him, turned his head and looked at his Taoist partner Yang Xiling, thought for a while, frowned slightly, and asked, "What's the point of using the illusion masks to disguise as your foundation-building cultivator in Huaishu County? Why don't you tell me why?" Seeing that Wu Yan did not directly refuse, Ling Yanhong knew that this matter was a play, so he did not hide it and directly told Wu Yan about the grievances between the 5 major families in Huaishu County and Li Laomo, and the opportunity to unite the foundation-building cultivators of the other 4 families in Huaishu County to kill Li Laomo by taking advantage of the genocide war. Wu Yan said, "Destroying the demons is a good thing, and there are reasons for this, but borrowing the illusion mask is still a big deal. Moreover, if the 5 foundation builders that Huaishu County needs to send out this time are combined, they can conquer a second-level spiritual mountain occupied by monsters. Or if you all leave during the battle with the monsters, this will have a subtle impact on the strategy of my Bailing sect to attack the territory of the demonic Python Lake in the future." Ling Yanhong is also an experienced person. Seeing that Wu Yan was refusing but not refusing, he immediately understood what Wu Yan meant and said with a smile, "I heard that Bailing sect is in urgent need of spiritual iron. My Ling family just happens to have a Zuanshu iron ore vein. My Ling family is willing to take the initiative to donate 1,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore to contribute a little bit of strength to Bailing sect." Wu Yan heard that Ling Yanhong was a little more pleasing to the eye, and thought to himself, "He is a sensible man. Fellow Taoist Ling is worthy of being a subsidiary family of my Bailing sect. You are really caring about the sect. But Patriarch Ling, your donation is too little. If you donate 5,000 kilograms of Zuanshu ironstone, I am willing to ask my father to help your 5 major families in Huaishu County. But I can only let 2 of your foundation-building cultivators from Huaishu County leave during the battle to destroy monsters. At that time, Siling and I will wear illusion masks and disguise ourselves as 2 foundation-building cultivators from your 5 major families. If too many foundation-building cultivators leave, I will not be able to cover up this hole. This time is different from the battle to destroy monsters more than 10 years ago. The foundation-building cultivators in the sect all have missions." Wu Yan said solemnly. "If it weren't for the fact that your Ling family and the Yang family are relatives, I wouldn't risk helping you even if you gave up more benefits." Ling Yanhong paused when he heard this. He didn't care about Wu Yan's exorbitant request. 5,000 Zuanshu iron ores and letting only 2 people leave were actually within his tolerance. What really concerned Ling Yanhong was the words of Wu Yan, the descendant of the Jinden. "This time is different from the battle to destroy the demon more than 10 years ago." If an ordinary person said this, Ling Yanhong would naturally not care, but Wu Yan was the direct descendant of the Jinden's Henrin of Bailingman, and he must know some news. From this, Ling Yanhong had some guesses that this battle to destroy the demon might be more massive and more dangerous than before. Ling Yanhong, who was uneasy, was stunned for several breaths before he came back to his senses and spoke. "This amount of Zuanshu iron ore is too much? I only have 1,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore on me. I wonder if I can pay 1,000 kilograms first, and then I will pay you the remaining 4,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore after the matter is completed." Ling Yanhong is not stupid. He directly handed the agreed Zuanshu iron ore to Wu Yan. If Wu Yan regrets it, Ling's will suffer a great loss. Of course. Seeing Ling Yanhong's straightforward agreement, Wu Yan's smile became even stronger. Then, Ling Yanhong handed the 1,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore to Wu Yan. "Please don't spread the words of this conversation." "Understood." Wu Yan and Yang Xiling said at the same time. "This matter is over. I won't delay you any longer." Ling Yanhong stood up and bowed to the 2 of them to say goodbye. Wu Yan and his wife naturally did not stay for long, but just bowed to Ling Yanhong and sent him off together. After leaving Qingshi Mountain, Ling Yanhong did not return to Lingxiao Mountain when he returned to Huaishu County from Yunshu County. Instead, he came to Hidden Cave and crushed a special token. There are 2 more chapters to come, which will be updated at 8 p.m. 3 chapters will be updated at 2 p.m. and 2 chapters will be updated at 8 p.m. Chapter 112, Summoning the Tribesmen Back to the Mountain. Within a day, the 4 foundation-building clan leaders of the other 4 clans in Huaishu County arrived at the cave one after another. When the foundation-building monks of the 5 clans in Huaishu County were all present, Luo Minghu, the clan leader of Qingshi Mountain Luo clan, who was also the strongest person in Huaishu County and had reached the late stage of foundation building, asked Ling Yunhong curiously. "Fellow Taoist Ling, did you summon us here this time to find the trace of Li Lao Mo?" The jade token that Ling Yunhong crushed the day before was the mother-son token that the 5 clans agreed to crush after the battle to destroy the demons 4 years ago. It could only be crushed after finding Li Lao Mo, and summon the foundation-building monks of the other clans to deal with Li Lao Mo. "Yes, but did you find the trace of Li Lao Mo?" The clan leaders of the other 3 foundation-building clans also spoke up. They were not stupid. Like Ling Yunhong, they were worried that when the foundation-building monks left the clan mountain during the battle to destroy the demons, Li Lao Mo would run out from the dark and attack the mortal clansmen and clan mountains of their respective clans. Ling Yunhong shook his head and told the 4 people present about the method of trapping and killing Li Lao Mo, and the fact that he could ask Wu Yan, the descendant of Jaidan, to help him to make the 2 foundation-building cultivators in Huaishu County leave the battle to kill the demons. Luo Minghu agreed. "This is a good plan. Li Lao Mo is cunning and suspicious by nature. If Wu Yan and his wife use the illusion masks to disguise 2 of us, even if Li Lao Mo has spies around us, it will be difficult to detect. He will still believe that we are unable to escape because of the battle to kill the demons, and then attack our family forces." The foundation-building cultivators of the other 3 families also spoke in agreement. Finally, after a discussion, the 5 foundation-building cultivators decided to leave during the battle to kill the demons. The 2 foundation-building cultivators who sneaked back to Huaishu County to ambush Li Lao Mo were Ling Yunhong, who had just broken through to the middle stage of foundation building, and Luo Minghu, the strongest person in Huaishu County, who was in the late stage of foundation building. Seeing the result of the discussion, Ling Yunhong smiled at the other 4 people present and spoke. "Since the candidates for the ambush of Li Lao Mo have been selected and you have agreed to this, then we should also calculate how to divide the 8,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore that we need to ask the Jaidan descendants Wu Yan and his wife to use the illusion masks to disguise us and help us ambush Li Lao Mo. Although it costs 5,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore to ask Wu Yan and his wife, Ling Yunhong owes Yang a favor and spends a sum of ore. If it weren't for the relationship between the Ling family and the Yang family, with the help of Ling Xiaoshan and his wife, it would be good for Ling Yunhong to meet Wu Yan during his trip to Qingshi Mountain, not to mention that he entrusted Wu Yan to borrow the expensive illusion mask from Bailingman. Although 5,000 ore is only worth 2,500 spirit stones on the market, if it is given to Ling Yunan of the Ling family to refine the 2 magical instruments, Zuanshu sword and Zuanshu shield, the Ling family can earn at least 5,000 spirit stones from this ore. Under such circumstances, Ling Yunhong naturally wanted to get some benefits from the other 4 families, and he couldn't let his family be the scapegoat. Luo Minghu said, "My family and Ling Daoyao's family will each bear 1,000 kilograms. You 3 families don't need to send people to deal with Li Lao Mo. The remaining 6,000 kilograms of Zuanshu iron ore will be paid by you all. If Ling Daoyao and I fail to kill Li Lao Mo this time, we will give you the portion we didn't pay." The foundation-building cultivators of the other 3 families agreed with Luo Minghu's fair proposal, and successively took out a batch of spirit stones equivalent to the amount of ore that each family had to bear and handed them to Ling Yunhong. Afterwards, the foundation-building cultivators of the 5 families discussed responding to Bailingman's extermination of monsters. The cultivators of the 5 families all planned to avoid the front line where many cultivators called by Bailingman fought against the army of monsters, and instead dealt with some small fish and shrimps. The family monks are the subordinate forces of Bailingman, and Bailingman also respects the family monks. Although they will force the family monks to participate in the war to eliminate monsters, if there are some weaker families who do not intend to go to the front line, it is also okay. Of course, these family monks who do not go to the front line will also be sent to fight monsters, but the risk factor is lower, and they will be assigned by Bailingman to capture the spiritual mountain occupied by the monster group. Since Ling Yunhong returned from Bailingman a few days ago and brought back the news that Bailingman wanted to recruit monks in the territory to take the initiative to attack the territory of the demon Python Lake, several members of the Ling family who have flying spirit beasts, including the 5th elder Ling Yangxi and the 6th elder Ling Yangqian, rode flying spirit beasts to various places to call back the members of the family who have more than 70% of the middle and late stage of key training who are working outside to the family mountain, and sacrifice the high-level magic tools given by the family for free to enhance their strength. Deep in the fruity ridge, Ling Yangxi rode a fairy crane and landed outside a small wooden house beside a 2-acre spiritual field. Ling Pengyun, who had been waiting outside the wooden house for a long time, was a little surprised to see Ling Yangxi coming. After Ling Yangxi jumped from the fairy crane to the ground, he immediately asked, "Grandma, why are you here?" After 3 months, Bailing sect will take the initiative to attack the demon python lake. My Ling family needs 30 cultivators above the middle stage of key training. The clan cannot gather such a number. Although you are still young, you are a member of my Ling family, and your cultivation has reached the middle stage of key training. You also need to participate in the war. At this point, Ling Yangxi looked a little reluctant. After pausing for half a breath, she spoke again. "I came here this time because I was commissioned by the clan to call you back to the clan, to promptly offer sacrifices to the high-level magic tools distributed by the clan, and to practice group combat, in preparation for the battle to destroy the monsters in the near future." Ling Pengyun was immediately panicked when she heard this. She had been stationed here for several years and had encountered a monster beast once. If it weren't for the help of the formation here, and the timely rescue of Ling Pengyun and Ling Ruxin stationed in Qingshi Mountain and Qingshi Lake not far away, she would have died. She was in danger when she encountered several monster beasts, not to mention participating in the battle between the two major giant forces. However, although Ling Pengyun was a little afraid of the battle to destroy the monsters, she did not retreat. As a family cultivator, she had received benefits from the clan for many years. If it weren't for the many spiritual objects that the family gave her every year for free to set up the formation, it would be difficult for her to reach the current level in formation, let alone cultivation. Since you benefit, you naturally have to pay. Ling Pengyun knew this truth since he was a child, and he had already prepared himself mentally. Ling Pengyun calmed down his panic, thought about it carefully, and asked Ling Yangxi, "Grandma, will you participate in this battle?" "No. Your third grandfather is away from the clan mountain, and there is no foundation building cultivator in the clan. The clan needs me to control the mountain protection formation to avoid accidents." Ling Yangxi shook his head. Ling Pengyun was slightly happy to get the answer, and said, "That's good, I want your first-class Huogayan bell and the green water sword." Ling Yangxi heard the words, and his face suddenly showed joy, and he praised. "I thought you would escape this time, but your current behavior makes me look at you with new eyes. I will give you everything you want, but it's just a temporary loan. You need to return it to me after you return to the clan." "Grandma, you are so stingy," Ling Pengyun joked. Chapter 113 Feng Yingpeng with excellent understanding. The same scene happened in Qingshi Mountain not far away. Ling Pengyun, who had just arrived at Qingshi Mountain in early January this year and replaced Ling Pengyun to guard Qingshi Mountain, was a little excited when he heard the sixth elder of the family, Ling Yangqian, telling him that the family wanted to recruit him to kill monsters. Ling Pengyun was at a passionate age. Although he was a spiritual plant husband, he was very eager to fight with monsters. However, due to the clan rules, he could not go out of the clan mountain privately before the age of 18, so he had not fought with monsters for a long time. Although he was released from the clan mountain in advance due to the lack of manpower in the clan, he was also sent by the family to guard Qingshi Mountain and take care of the spiritual plants in Qingshi Mountain, and it was difficult to leave for a long time. The monsters in the entire Anyuan County were killed by Ling Yanhong several years ago, and there were no traces of monsters around Qingshi Mountain. This situation also made the fight with monsters farther and farther away from Ling Pengyun. He originally thought that fighting with monsters would only happen after 5 years, when he completed the Qingshi Mountain garrison mission and ventured into the world of immortal cultivation on his own. Unexpectedly, there was an opportunity in front of him today. 18th grandfather, I'll go for this matter. Ling Yanqian saw Ling Pengyun's happy face. As a man, he had also experienced the age when he was still a little ignorant about monsters. He naturally understood Ling Pengyun's thoughts. He frowned suddenly, a trace of worry appeared in his expression, and he instructed. You are a child with a high level of awareness, but don't underestimate the battle to destroy monsters. There are at least hundreds of thousands of monsters of the first grade in the hundreds of thousands of miles of Jiamang Lake. You are only at the 4th level of key training. When the family destroys the monsters, don't act rashly. Remember to follow the elders in the team. Ling Pengyun heard this, his expression slightly condensed, and he answered. Understood, 18th grandfather. Ling Yanqian nodded lightly, waved his hand to take out 2 magic tools, handed them to Ling Pengyun, and said, "It's good to understand. This is a first-level mid-grade Zuanshu sword and Zuanshu shield. It is one of the spiritual objects that the family gives to the tribe members who participate in the war. I will go to the Zuanshu iron ore vein in Qingshi Lake later and tell your 13th great-grandfather about this. After that, you will hand over the affairs of taking care of the spiritual plants in Qingshi Mountain to your 13th great-grandfather. After the handover is completed, return to the clan immediately to sacrifice and refine the 2 magic weapons given to you this time. I'm leaving first. There are still a few people who have not been notified of the call." After saying this, Ling Pengyun rode a fairy crane to fly away from Qingshi Mountain and sneaked into Qingshi Lake. Lingxiao Mountain, a courtyard halfway up the mountain. A young man with a firm brow sent Ling Ruda out the door. After watching him leave, his eyes flashed and he muttered to himself, "Now I have mastered the key training chapter of the Zhengjin sword art, and my strength has increased by several times. There are countless monsters in the monster rebellion. If I find some monsters as opponents and fight with them, I will definitely have a deeper understanding of the sword intent. If I can condense the sword seed with the sword intent before breaking through the foundation building, it will be easier for me to break through the foundation building realm in the future." 1 month later. In a quiet room, Ling Pengyun fed half a first-level inferior spiritual feeding pill to Xiao Peng every 10 days as usual, hoping that Xiao Peng could feel the spiritual energy in the spiritual feeding pill by taking the spiritual feeding pill and accelerate his entry into the key training realm. This time, Ling Pengyun had just fed Xiao Peng half a spiritual feeding pill for a short time, and it crawled on the ground and fainted. During the coma, the breath of this bird was constantly increasing, and even attracted the surrounding free spiritual energy to merge into its body. Ling Pengyun, who was standing by, saw the strange phenomenon happening to Xiao Peng, and his expression suddenly brightened. This Xiao Peng is finally going to break through to the key training realm, and it is worth the 6 spiritual pills I spent on it during this period. Xiao Peng was at a critical period of breaking through the key training realm. Ling Pengyun could not calm down and practice the exercises. His eyes were fixed on Xiao Peng, and he was praying in his heart that Xiao Peng could successfully break through. Even when breaking through to the key training realm, there is a possibility of failure. About half an hour later, a sound of breaking came from Xiao Peng's body. Ka. Immediately afterwards, the breath exuded by Xiao Peng also reached the key training realm, and its body was like a vortex, absorbing a lot of spiritual energy into its body in a short period of time, tempering its mortal body. During this tempering process, Xiao Peng's body energy has increased by nearly 1-fold at a speed visible to the naked eye, enough to be the size of 2 millstones. Although this size is still not enough to carry people, Ling Pengyun can foresee that when this little Feng Yingpeng breaks through once and grows again, it will definitely be able to carry people and fly. After 100 breaths, when the little Feng Yingpeng's body movements calmed down, it also woke up from its coma. As soon as it woke up, it felt the huge changes brought about by this sleep. It has spiritual power, divine consciousness, wider wings, greater strength, and other benefits. The little Feng Yingpeng was very happy in his heart, and couldn't wait to convey to Ling Pengyun that he wanted to fly outside and experience the speed brought by doubling his size. Go. Ling Pengyun performed the control technique, opened the door of the quiet room, and nodded in agreement. With the consent of Ling Pengyun, the master, this little Feng Yingpeng was like a rabbit, and immediately flew out of the quiet room through the open door and flew happily in the sky of Lingxiao Mountain. The increase in size did not slow down Feng Yingpeng's speed. Instead, it made its wings more powerful, and its flying speed was several times faster than before it entered the key training stage. Ling Pengyun, who had also walked out of the quiet room, looked up at the speed of Feng Yingpeng flying in the sky, and muttered to himself. According to Feng Yingpeng's current speed, it should be no problem to travel 1,000 or 2,000 miles a day. This bird is indeed famous for its speed, but it has just entered this key training stage and has such a speed. When its cultivation is more stable, it may be even faster. After watching the soaring Feng Yingpeng for a while, Ling Pengyun returned to the quiet room again. After returning to the quiet room, Ling Pengyun sat cross-legged on the futon again. According to his daily routine, he took out the 12 green bamboo swords that Ling Yunhong gave him at the Bailingman wedding banquet, injected his spiritual consciousness into them, and at the same time sacrificed these 12 flying swords and arranged the spiritual consciousness imprints in the sword bodies. It takes a long time to refine a first-class flying sword. Ling Pengyun spent nearly a month refining this set of 12 flying swords, but he only placed spiritual imprints on 6 of them. During the time when Ling Pengyun returned to the house to refine the flying swords, Feng Yingpeng, who had been flying freely in the sky of Lingxiao Mountain for several hours, suddenly flapped his wings, and dots of green spiritual light gathered in front of him. Within a few breaths, the dots of green spiritual light condensed into an inch-long wind blade. Seeing the formation of this wind blade, Feng Yingpeng looked overjoyed, and with a slight thought, he sent the newly condensed wind blade to a huge rock on the ground to test its power. Swish! The wind blade was extremely fast, making a sound of breaking through the air. In just half a breath, it crossed dozens of feet and hit the huge rock on the ground. The huge rock was like tofu in front of the wind blade, and was directly penetrated by the wind blade. This matter surprised Feng Yingpeng greatly. It didn't expect that the wind blade it condensed would be so powerful. A trace of satisfaction emerged in its heart, and it quickly landed back to the courtyard where Ling Pengyun lived, and forcibly dragged Ling Pengyun, who was refining the magic weapon, to the outside world, and showed Ling Pengyun the powerful wind blade. After Ling Pengyun saw Feng Yingpeng condense the wind blade and penetrate a huge rock, he was immediately overjoyed. It was not a loss to spend hundreds of spiritual stones to buy this Feng Yingpeng at the Huaishu small meeting. According to the fact that Feng Yingpeng was born with innate perfect cultivation, and now he has mastered his life magic so quickly, this bird's cultivation aptitude and understanding are both very good. This bird will definitely enter the stage of key training perfection in the future. If there is an opportunity, it is not impossible to enter the stage of foundation building like its father. Under normal circumstances, the higher the innate cultivation of the monster beast at birth, the better the monster beast's aptitude. When the monster beast enters key training, the shorter the time it takes to master its life magic, the higher the monster beast's understanding. Chapter 114 5 Formations. 20 days passed in a blink of an eye, and the days entered March. Over the past 20 days, Ling Yangxi, Ling Yunqian, Ling Rufan and other Ling clan members who had flying spirit beasts traveled around. The Ling clan needed to go out to fight the monsters this time, and the 30 mid and late stage key training cultivators who were originally working outside were summoned back home for many days to sacrifice and refine the high-level magic tools distributed by the family for free. On this day, the 30 mid and late stage key training clan members were summoned by the great elder Ling Ruda to the outside of the family's general affairs hall. Standing in the crowd, Ling Pengyun looked at the clan members who were also participating in the war. He saw that among these clan members, there were not only 3 elders of the Ru generation who were nearly 100 years old and whose lifespans were about to run out, but also many young clan members of the Peng generation. His brows frowned immediately. This kind of patchwork, using the 4 generations of the family to make up the number of people, is not a good thing. The disadvantage of the family's shortage of manpower has been magnified a lot during the Bailing sex conscription this time. I wonder how the family will solve the problem of shortage of manpower in the future. Just as Ling Pengyun was distracted, the great elder Ling Ruda, who was standing outside the gate of the General Affairs Hall, saw that the 30 clansmen who needed to go out to participate in the monster-killing mission had all arrived, and then spoke. "Everyone, please be quiet. Among the 30 clan members going on this expedition, there is 1 cultivator who has completed key training, 7 cultivators who have reached the late stage of key training, and 22 cultivators who have reached the middle stage of key training. The clan has considered that the battle to exterminate monsters is too chaotic and that there may be casualties if each of them fights individually, so they have recently purchased 3 formations from Luoxaluo's family. Together with the 2 formations that have been stored in the clan treasury over the years, there are a total of 5 formations available. The clan will distribute these 5 formations to you to ensure that you will be safer when fighting monsters. These 5 formations are the first level medium grade trapping monster binding formation, the defensive formation Wu Earth Curtain formation, the main attacking fiery fire formation, the golden needle formation, and the first level top grade Yu Wood trapping monster formation. Although these formations are not arranged on the spirit veins, but are maintained by your own spirit power, they can only exert 70% of the formation's full victory power, but this is better than you fighting alone. The monsters you will face in this battle are not just a few or a dozen, but hundreds or even thousands of monsters. The array plates of the 4 first-order intermediate grade arrays, monster binding, golden needle, earth transforming curtain, and fiery fire, are held by Pengyun, Penxing, Penglin, and Xiaohua. Pengyun and Penxing are both in the late stage of key training. Although Penglin's cultivation is not strong, he is a rare array master in the clan and can use array secrets to enhance the power of the array. Xiaohua is only one step away from the 7th level of key training, and his strength is also quite outstanding. Don't have any second thoughts because of the possession of the array plates. As for the only first-order superior grade array, the Yimu monster trapping array, the array plate is held by Yunjin, who has the highest cultivation among the key training clan members going on this expedition. The 4 first-grade intermediate formations have only 6 flags each. Except for Pengyun and the other 4 who control the formation plates, each of them controls 1 flag. The remaining 20 flags will be controlled by the 20 clansmen in the middle stage of key training who are going on this expedition. You can choose to form a group with 6 people among those who have a good relationship with you. After you have divided the teams, let me know and I will give you the formation flags that each group needs to arrange. As for the Emu Demon Trapping Array, which is of the first grade upper grade, it requires more spiritual power to activate. The 9 flags of this formation will be controlled by Yunjin and the other 5 clansmen in the late stage of key training who are going on this expedition. After speaking, Ling Ruda took out the formation plates and flags of the 5 formations from the storage bag, and handed the formation plates of the 5 formations to Ling Pengyun, Ling Penxing, Ling Penglin, Ling Xiaohua, and Ling Yunqian first. Ling Xiaohua is Ling Pengyun's father. He is the 6th in the Xiao generation. He has reached the 6th level of key training and has some talent for refining instruments. The family spent a lot on him in his early years, but it didn't work out. The success rate of refining instruments is extremely low. In recent years, he has been working with the family's refiner Ling Yunong to refine ore. Ling Yunqian is the 6th elder of the family, the 8th in the Yun generation. He is the only key training perfect cultivator among the 30 clan members who went on this expedition. Although there are 4 key training perfect cultivators in the clan, including the 1st elder Ling Ruda, the 2nd elder Ling Ruxin, the 3rd elder Ling Yunfen, and the 6th elder Ling Yunqian, the first 3 all have official duties. Ling Ruda is in charge of all matters of the family, big and small. Once he leaves, all matters will be in chaos. Ling Ruxin needs to guard the important Zuanshu iron ore vein, and it is difficult for him to leave for a long time. Ling Yunfeng is a small gold mountain of the Ling family. He is the only first-class upper-grade spirit talisman master in the family. He needs to refine spirit talismans to earn spirit stones for the family. After the 30 clansmen who went on this expedition had divided themselves into teams, Ling Ruda also distributed the flags of each formation, and then called on the 30 clansmen who went on this expedition to sacrifice the formation flags and organize everyone to practice the formation to cope with the upcoming battle to destroy the monster. Time passed quickly, and the 3-month deadline for Bailingman to call on the monks to gather was getting closer. In mid-April. On this day, the 30 middle and late-stage key training monks who went on this expedition of the Ling family were summoned to the General Affairs Hall, and received 5 first-class middle-grade attack and defense spirit talismans, 1 first-class upper-grade attack spirit talisman, 30 fasting pills that could feed their stomachs for 3 days, 5 bottles of first-class lower-grade rejuvenation powder for healing, 3 first-class middle-grade healing pills Lingxiao pills, 3 first-class middle-grade key recovering pills, and 3 first-class upper-grade key recovering pills. After all the 30 members of the Ling clan who were going on this expedition had received a large number of spiritual objects supported by the family, they also followed the clan leader Ling Yunhong to leave Lingxiao Mountain, and used flying magic tools and flying spiritual beasts to go to Huaishu Market, which was thousands of miles away. Because there were so many people and they were not in a hurry, it took the Ling clan team 5 days to reach Huaishu Market. Although Bailingman organized people to gather in Huaishu County and prepare to attack the territory of Jiayamang Lake, Huaishu Market still adhered to the previous practices. Every cultivator entering the city still needed to use the magic realm to take a photo to prevent demon cultivators from mixing into the crowd. This also made the 4 city gates of Huaishu Market full of people. The Ling clan lined up for nearly half a day before entering the market. As soon as he entered the market, Ling Pengyun saw a very spectacular scene. The huge market avenue is crowded with people, and every cultivator walked side by side without a single gap. The shops selling spiritual objects in the market are also full of monks. The number of such monks is several times more than that of the Huaishu meeting. Seeing this scene, Ling Pengyun swallowed his saliva and muttered to himself. From this point of view, the number of middle and late-stage cultivators gathered by Bailingmen this time is probably tens of thousands. I don't know how huge the upcoming battle to exterminate monsters will be. Thanks to Xiano Loves Astronomy, Tango Yankson, you have a set. Book friend 20210152337177088. Liao Dung Hero Hu Yidao, Yair. Who knows what this is? Book friend 20200410135238602. Buried in the Blood, Xiang Eri, Soul Tome, unexpectedly broke into your smile. Book friend 20171022224047650. Dao please stay, play happily as you like. Zion Oeokai, Zinquang Yin Zhenho 123's monthly tickets. Thank you all for your votes. Thank you. Book friend 20220728201504976 for the 100-point reward. Thank you, Soul Tiom for the 1600-point reward. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 115 Ling Yunnan Gift Shield. After being stunned for a while, Ling Pengyun was reminded by the elders and the team to keep up, so as not to be dispersed by the crowd. The 30 clan members of the Ling family who came this time were arranged by Ling Yunhong in the shops opened by the Lingxiao Beibao Pavilion and Lingxiao Fu Pavilion. Although there were not many rooms in these two shops, they could still barely settle down by sleeping on the floor. As for the inns in the market, the spiritual stones required were too expensive and in short supply. Many casual cultivators with limited means slept in tents on the roadside. This situation would not be possible in normal times, but now that they are in the war, there are too many cultivators in the market, and there are not so many vacant inns in the market, so the Bailing sect acquiesced to sleeping on the street. After Ling Yunhong, the clan leader, settled the 30 key training clan members who participated in the war, he waited for 3 days. At noon one day, he went to a tea house and met with the foundation-building cultivators from the other 4 foundation-building families in Huaishu County, and went to Huaishu Mansion, which is in charge of the affairs of the market. Huaishu Prefecture was established by Bailing sect. On weekdays, the disciples of Bailing sect in Huaishu Prefecture are in charge of the affairs of the market. In this war preparation period, Huaishu Prefecture was listed as a temporary strategic deployment place by Bailing sect. The dozens of foundation-building families in the 10 county cities of Ning and Jing under Bailing sect must gather in groups of counties before they can go to Huaishu Prefecture to receive the tasks for the war to destroy monsters. There are rewards for completing the tasks. If they fail to complete the tasks, Bailing sect will take back the spiritual veins of each family as punishment. If you resist the task, you will be directly killed. The 5 major foundation-building families in Huaishu County have already agreed with each other that they do not intend to participate in the frontline battle, so they received a relatively simple task. This task is to capture a second-level medium-grade spiritual vein occupied by 4 foundation-building stone-armored apes and more than 700 key training stone-armored apes 5,000 miles away between May 1st and May 5th. After seizing this spiritual vein, the spiritual vein belongs to Bailing sect, and the 5 major families act as thugs. If the task is completed within the specified time, the 5 major families will each receive 1,000 sect contribution points. If the task fails, each family will lose the ownership of a first-class superior spiritual vein in the territory. The 5 families of Huaishu County are also relatively confident about this task, otherwise they would not have chosen this task. As the day of the expedition is getting closer, more and more monks are pouring into the Huaishu market. Because of the upcoming war, most monks with some extra money will buy a few spiritual objects to keep with them. This also makes the business of the shops selling spiritual objects in the market much better, especially the 3 spiritual objects of elixir, spiritual talisman, and magic weapon, which are selling very hot. These 3 popular spiritual objects are occupied by the Ling family's Fu Pavilion and Beibao Pavilion. Because of their good quality, the opportunity of many monks pouring into the market also makes the Ling family earn a lot of money. In order to earn more spiritual stones by selling spiritual objects on the eve of the war to destroy the demons, and during the process of destroying the demons, the Ling family had sent Ling Yunnan, the 10th elder of the Yun generation, the first-class middle-grade alchemist of the family, and Ling Yunnan, the weapon refiner, to the Huaishu market early on. Together with Ling Yunfen, the first-class top-grade talisman maker and the third elder of the family who had been stationed in the Huaishu market for many years. They refined 3 kinds of spiritual objects, namely elixirs, magic tools, and spiritual talismans, to fill the 2 shops opened by the family in the market. In order to provide these 3 money-making machines with a quiet enough environment, Ling Yunhong specially rented a spacious and quiet room for them in an inn called Enjo in the market to refine spiritual objects. Considering that Ling Pengyun, the weapon refiner who is the focus of the family's cultivation, had not been taught to refine weapons for a long time, the clan leader Ling Yunhong sent Ling Pengyun to observe the weapon refining next to Ling Yunan, the first-class middle-grade weapon refiner, a few days ago. As for why the family did not allow Ling Pengyun to refine weapons during the period of exterminating demons, it was also very simple. The family had a lot of first-grade inferior magic weapons in stock. The green bamboo swords that Ling Pengyun refined in the past few years have not sold many in recent years. After all, first-grade inferior magic weapons are only the lowest-grade magic weapons, so it is normal that the sales are not good. Only first-grade inferior defense magic weapons have better sales, and even many poor key training mid-stage casual cultivators will buy them. But Ling Peng's success rate in refining the round iron shield is not high, only 40%, barely enough to make back the cost. Under such circumstances, rather than letting Ling Pengyun, a rare key training late-stage cultivator in the family, stay in the market to refine weapons, it is better to send him to join the battle of exterminating demons. It can not only enhance the strength of the family team during the battle of exterminating demons, but also increase Ling Pengyun's combat experience and training. Anju in a large quiet room. Ling Pengyun held his breath tightly, his eyes fixed on the process of a red-faced, white-haired old man beside him using a red refining furnace to refine a magic weapon, not daring to miss any details. After about half an incense stick of time, the red-faced old man quickly pinched a finger gesture and murmured, "Congeal." Then, a wave of spiritual power suddenly appeared in the red refining furnace. The next moment, the red-faced old man waved his arm, performed the object control technique, lifted the furnace cover, and took out a round magic shield with extremely shining spiritual patterns and a blue body from the refining furnace. Ha! A first-class, top-quality Zuamshu shield. The red-faced old man laughed as he took out a blue magic shield. Ling Pengyun, who was standing aside, was slightly moved after hearing the red-faced old man's muttering, and looked at the magic shield that had just come out of the furnace. Seeing the abnormal flashing of the spiritual patterns on the magic shield, he was shocked. Then, he also raised a touch of joy on his face, and bowed to the red-faced old man beside him. Congratulations to the 8th ancestor for refining such a quality first-grade top-grade Zuamshu shield. In 10 days, the 8th ancestor will surely become the 2nd first-grade top-grade weapon refiner since the establishment of our Ling family. The red-faced old man was named Ling Yunan. He ranked 8th in the Yun generation and was the first-grade middle-grade weapon refiner since the establishment of the Ling family. As for the title of the first-grade top-grade weapon refiner since the establishment of the Ling family, it was overtaken by Ling Yunhong, who had a high cultivation level of the foundation building stage and a strong spiritual sense. Now, Ling Pengyun's congratulatory remarks were also based on common sense of refining. Only when you have extremely high attainments and a bit of luck when refining a kind of magic weapon can you refine a first-grade top-grade magic weapon of top quality. After hearing Ling Pengyun's congratulations, Ling Yunan was very happy in his heart, and his smile grew a little more. In his joy, he waved his hand and handed the top-quality Zuamshu shield that had just come out of the furnace to Ling Pengyun, saying with a smile, "Ha! I like what you say, kid. I will give you this top-quality Zuamshu shield that I made for the first time." When Ling Pengyun saw Ling Yunan giving him the shield, although he wanted the top-quality first-grade Zuamshu shield very much, he did not dare to accept it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116: The Eve of the Expedition. The price of a first-grade, top-quality Zuamshu shield can be sold at a high price of at least 200 to 250 Lingxi in the market. This value of the shield is enough to be equivalent to Ling Pengyun's normal 3 or 4 years of worship. 8th grandfather, This shield is too precious. I dare not take it. Besides, this shield is a first grade, top quality one. If it is placed in the family's treasure pavilion, it can also serve as a storefront to attract visitors to buy other magic tools in the treasure pavilion. Ling Yunan said decisively. If I can refine a magic shield of this quality, I can refine a second one. You don't believe me, your great-great-grandfather. This shield is not given to you for nothing. You are about to go to war. With this shield, you can increase your strength and it may even be your life-saving item. If you feel unworthy of it, bring back some good quality monster materials when you kill monsters and give them to me. Hearing this, Ling Pengyun hesitated for a moment, and then made up his mind to accept the valuable high-quality Zhuangshu shield in front of him. After Ling Pengyun took over the Zhuangshu shield, Ling Yunan instructed. There are only 3 days until May 1st, when you will go to war. During these 3 days, you can sacrifice this shield on the side and don't need to watch me refine the weapon. Okay. Ling Pengyun also knew that time was running out. After answering, he immediately closed his eyes and poured his consciousness into the Zhuangshu shield in his hand. Ling Yunan, the weapon refiner, continued to take out 5 pounds of Zhuangshu iron and several monster bones with rich spiritual energy. He used the red weapon refinery furnace and the flames of the blazing firewood to refine the Zhuangshu shield. During the war to destroy monsters, defensive magic weapons such as the Zhuangshu shield were more popular than offensive magic weapons. In the following 3 days, Ling Yunan refined another top-quality Zhuangshu shield and handed it to Ling Penxing, the first person of the Peng generation in the family. The night before the expedition, Ling Pengyun finally succeeded in refining the top-quality Zhuangshu shield and placed a spiritual mark in the shield. On the same night, on the other side, Ling Yanhong, the patriarch of the Ling family, took advantage of the night and quietly left the Lingxiao treasure pavilion. He first went to the Luoxia formation shop opened by the Luo family in the market, and found Luo Minghu, the patriarch of the Luo family, and took him to the depths of the Huaishu market and entered a courtyard. In the courtyard, there was a quiet room. There were 4 people in the quiet room, Ling Yanhong, Luo Minghu, the head of the Luoxia Luo clan, and Wu Yan and Yang Xiling, who had just been married for only 3 months. Wu Yan waved 4 human skin masks covered with patterns and a golden token engraved with the word Bailing, which floated in the air, and then spoke. Chief Ling, Chief Luo, there are 4 illusion masks in total, 1 for each of us. You and my wife will disguise your faces, and the 2 of you will disguise your faces as mine and my wife. There is also this token. Without this token, you 2 can't leave this Huaishu market. Ling Yanhong took the illusion mask floating in the air and put it on his face to try it out. He found that the effect of this mask was indeed true. Not only can the face be changed at will, but the breath can also be changed. He secretly sighed at the magic of this mask, and after reaching out to take the floating golden token again, he took out a storage bag from his arms and handed it to Wu Yan. Thank you for your concern, fellow Taoist Wu. This storage bag contains the remaining batch of Zhuangshu iron ore. Wu Yan took the storage bag, probed into it with his spiritual sense, and found that the amount of ore in it was correct, and replied, well, you only have 5 days. As for the tasks assigned to your family, my husband and I will try our best to complete them for you. You need to return the illusion mask afterwards. If there is any damage, you will have to pay for it yourself. It should be. Thank you. Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu thanked him one after another. The 4 chatted about their own characteristics for a while, and then put on the illusion mask one after another, transforming into each other's body shape. Wu Yan and his wife left this place with the faces of Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, and returned to the residences of Ling and Luo respectively. Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, who were wearing the faces of Wu Yan and his wife, took advantage of the token given by Wu Yan and easily left the market at night and headed straight for Huaishu County. The next morning, May 1st. On this day, among the 10 county cities from Jing and Ning states controlled by Bailingmen, as many as dozens of large foundation building and key training families and 5 of them were divided into 6 groups and took the lead in leaving the Huaishu market. After these family monks left the Huaishu market, Ling Fu's Henren and Ling Zun's Henren of Bailingmen also led many disciples of Bailingmen, as well as nearly 10,000 monks gathered from Jing and Ning states, and family monks from the other 5 county cities out of the market. The monks of the 2 parties left one after another, and their tasks were also different. In the former, Dozens of families in the 5 counties were dealing with the small shrimps that needed to be seized in the 10,000 miles of Jiamang Lake. In the latter, the large army of tens of thousands of monks led by 2 Jindans Henren crossed thousands of miles, and their goal was to reach the only second-level superior spiritual vein within 10,000 miles outside the Huaishu market. After seizing this spiritual vein, Bailingmen will use this spiritual vein as a foundation to resist the main force of the monster group riot caused by the Jiamang Lake. This is the usual strategy of Bailingmen. Today's Yunshu County and Huaishu County were both snatched from the territory of Yaomang Lake in this way. As long as the front line is not broken, the territory can be snatched. As for Huaishufang City, there are also many Bailingmen's foundation building and key training monks stationed there. Huaishufang City is the retreat route for this battle to destroy the monster and needs to be defended. South gate of Huaishufang City. There are 2 foundation building monks and dozens of key training monks stationed on this city wall. These monks are all from Bailingmen. At this time, Chen Dong, one of the 2 foundation building monks stationed on this city wall, looked up and looked at the monks from the 5 major families of Huaishu County who left through the South City Gate not long ago. Chen Dong's mind moved slightly, and his eyes suddenly flashed with purple light, and his eyesight was greatly blessed. He is now performing a secret technique called Purple Extreme Illusion Breaking Technique, which is an extremely advanced secret method of eyesight, several times stronger than the key-seeking technique. In addition to blessing the monk's eyesight, this method can also see through illusions. Even in Bailing sect, only those who have reached the foundation building stage can comprehend it. As soon as the Purple Extreme Illusion Breaking Technique was completed, Chen Dong looked outside the Huaishu market and saw the faces of the 5 foundation building monks who led the 5 foundation building families in Huaishu County. Seeing that the faces of the 5 foundation building monks were normal, his expression changed slightly. He went down to a corner of the city wall, took out a talisman from his arms, and wrote a dozen small words on the talisman with his spiritual power as a pen. The faces of the 5 people are correct. They have all left the Huaishu market. After writing these 10 words, Chen Dong injected spiritual power into the talisman. The talisman flashed with spiritual light and suddenly shattered. Chen Dong, who saw this scene, did not show any surprise. Instead, he looked relaxed and sighed a long, turbid air. I have finally completed this task. Now I just need to wait for the other half of the cultivation resources that Li Laomo promised me. With those resources, I will be able to break through to the 7th level of foundation building within 3 years. When the war to exterminate monsters is over, I can also apply to the sect to leave the Huaishu market where I have to worry about monsters attacking the city every day. However, Chen Dong, who is under the inner city wall, did not see that among the 5 foundation building monks leading the Huaishu County monk team outside the market, Luo Minghu, the head of the Luoxia Luo clan, turned his head and glanced at the position of the city wall where Chen Dong had just stood. There was a flash of murderous intent in his eyes. There are 2 more chapters at 8 p.m. 3 chapters at 2 p.m., 2 chapters at 8 p.m. Chapter 117, finally meeting Li Laomo. Thousands of miles away, there is a deep cave, the entrance of which is blocked by a huge rock. Inside the cave, an old man with white hair and a face as pale as snow sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. At this moment, the storage bag hanging on the old man's waist suddenly flashed with a spiritual light, and he opened his eyes, patted the storage bag on his waist, and summoned a talisman with small characters written on it. The characters written on the talisman were exactly the dozens of small characters written by Chen Dong, the foundation building monk of Bailing sect stationed in Huaishu market. The faces of the 5 people are correct, and they have all left Huaishu market. The white-haired old man looked at the characters written on the talisman in his hand, his expression suddenly brightened, and a creepy smile appeared on his face. Finally, I have waited for this day. 4 years ago, I will let you, the dog family, pay back for destroying my life instrument and killing hundreds of my disciples. The white-haired old man stood up and waved his hand to shoot a spiritual power at the huge rock blocking the cave. Boom! The huge rock turned into countless pieces of rubble under the attack of the spiritual power. A beam of light shot into the deep cave. The white-haired old man walked out of the cave and looked at a small town built by mortals a few miles away. Yunwen clan. The white-haired old man's eyes flashed scarlet, and he gritted his teeth and spoke. This pale white-haired old man was the old demon Li, who was injured by the foundation-building cultivators of the 5 major families in Qingshi County. In that battle, he was seriously injured because his life magic weapon, the Thousand Ghost Banner, was destroyed, and his strength was only 1/3 of what it was. If his strength had not been greatly reduced, he would not have been hiding and dare not show up. As soon as the words fell, old demon Li turned into blood-red light and shadow, fled down the barren mountain, and headed straight for the mortal town a few miles away. In just a few dozen breaths, he rushed to the outside of the town. Before entering the town, he stopped, waved his hand, and hundreds of blood-red small swords appeared out of thin air. Go! Hundreds of blood-red swords turned into blood-red light and shadows, quickly flew into the town, and pierced through the bodies of mortals one by one. The mortals in the town were extremely panicked when they saw the immortals causing chaos, and they fled in all directions. Among the fleeing crowd, a strong man in a gorgeous robe took out a jade tablet from his arms and crushed it while fleeing. The crushed jade tablet fragments flashed with spiritual light and emitted a wave of spiritual power. Li Laomo, who was controlling hundreds of blood-red swords to commit crimes outside the town, noticed this small change subtly, but he smiled jokingly. Not long after, a member of the Wen clan who was stationed in the spiritual vein near the town received a call for help from the village chief of the town and rode a rock bird to rush over. But before he got close to the town, 2 blood-red swords appeared out of thin air, piercing his head and the head of the rock bird he was sitting on. And this late-stage key training cultivator of the Wen clan and the rock bird under his seat also died in an instant and fell to the ground from a high altitude. After a few breaths, Li Laomo appeared beside the corpses of the man and the bird, and spit out a small banner covered with skull patterns. As soon as the small banner came out of the outside world, it quickly grew larger. Li Laomo held the long banner and waved it gently. 2 transparent shadows floated out of the bodies of the Wen family monk and the bird. The 2 shadows had no souls in their eyes, just like they looked before. These transparent shadows were their souls. As soon as the souls left the body, they were sucked into the banner by the suction force of the long banner. After collecting the 2 souls, Li Laomo quickly fled into the town full of corpses and blood. He waved the long banner in his hand again, and the souls and the corpses of thousands of mortals in the town suddenly rushed out and were sucked into the long banner. After sucking in thousands of mortal souls, the blood-red spiritual patterns flashing on the long banner in Li Laomo's hand became brighter. Zhang Laomo saw the changes in the long banner in his hand, and his expression was slightly happy. If it absorbs tens of thousands of mortals, this newly refined Thousand Ghost Banner will surely restore the power of my original Thousand Ghost Banner. He sighed to himself and put the magic banner in his mouth. Then he pinched his hands and condensed a blood-red seal. Once this seal was completed, it turned into a huge blood-red vortex above the town. Once the blood-red vortex was completed, it emitted infinite suction, but this suction was only effective for the corpses of mortals in the town. After thousands of mortal corpses were sucked into the blood-red vortex, they were instantly chopped into countless pieces of meat. After the vortex purified these flesh and blood, it took half an incense stick of time to turn them into a blood-red pill that was only the size of a finger. Once the pill was completed, the blood-red vortex was also removed by Li Laomo. Li Laomo waved his hand and swallowed the blood-red pill into his stomach. In just a moment, Li Laomo's face, as pale as snow, became a little rosy. He took out a map, identified another mortal village nearby, and rushed over. Yunwu Mountain. When Ruofei, the elder of the Wen family stationed in the mountain, noticed something unusual in the storage bag on his waist. He patted the storage bag on his waist and summoned out a broken jade token. On the jade token, the word Ruoshi was engraved. Is the 13th brother dead? Seeing the broken jade token, the elder Wen Ruofei's expression changed drastically. This jade token is the life token of Wen Ruoshi, the 13th generation of the Wen family. In this life token, there is a trace of Wen Ruoshi's consciousness. The broken life token means that Wen Ruoshi is dead. Wen Ruofei didn't have time to feel sad about the death of his clan members. He immediately took out a token from his storage bag and held it tightly in his hand. After waiting for about half an hour, he found another token in his storage bag that showed the death of a clan member stationed in a low-level spiritual mountain outside. He immediately confirmed his guess. It must be that old demon Li came to take revenge. The next moment, Wen Ruofei crushed the token in his hand. At the same time, 2,000 or 3,000 miles away, on a barren mountain in the center of Qingshi County, Ling Yunhuang and Luo Minghu, who had left Huaishu Market, were sitting cross-legged. In front of the two, there were 5 tokens that were exactly the same as the one that Wen Ruofei, the great elder of the Wen family, had just crushed. These 5 tokens were the mother tokens and the mother-child tokens, and the child tokens were in the hands of the elders of each family stationed in the 5 major families of Huaishu County. Only in the near future, when too many cultivators of each family stationed in the outside world died in a short period of time, could they crush the child tokens to ask for help. This move was to prevent Li Laomo from taking advantage of the foundation-building cultivators of the 5 families of Huaishu County to respond to the call of Bailingman and leave the mountain to cause chaos. At the same time, if Li Laomo caused chaos during this period, the family seeking help could also know the approximate location of Li Laomo. Crack. At this time, among the 5 tokens floating in the void, the token engraved with the word "Wen" suddenly shattered. The movement of the token shattering startled Ling Yunhong and Luo Minghu, who were sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed. Ling Yunhong saw a token was broken, and after a quick glance, he found that it was not his own, and his worries immediately subsided. He looked slightly happy and said, "Old Demon Li really took advantage of the fact that we were attacked by the Bailing sect. This time, we must eliminate this trouble, otherwise we will never be at peace in the future." Luo Minghu on the side agreed. "That's right." After saying this, Luo Minghu waved a yellow flying boat, called Ling Yunhong to the flying boat mountain, and turned into yellow light and shadow and flew towards the Yunwu Wen family's territory. Chapter 118, Joining Forces to Kill. The next morning, entering the Yunwu Wen clan territory, Ling Yunhong and Luo Minghu, who had searched all night, finally found Li Laomo, who was causing chaos everywhere in the Wen clan territory and harming the Wen clan mortals. Aren't they in the Huaishu market in response to the call of the Bailing sect? How come they are here? Li Laomo, who is refining blood pills with hundreds of mortal corpses in a small village, saw Ling Yunhong and Luo Minghu riding a flying boat in the sky not far away. He frowned and cursed inwardly. "Damn Chendong, how dare you lie to me? After this, I will definitely pull out your tendons and skin you." Li Laomo was seriously injured and did not dare to fight with Luo Minghu, who was in the late stage of foundation building, and Ling Yunhong, who knew a powerful sword formation. He quickly stopped refining blood pills, performed a secret method, and turned into bloodlight to escape. A few miles away, Luo Minghu, who was driving the flying boat, saw Li Laomo escape, but smiled jokingly, performed the sound enhancement technique, and laughed loudly. "Old Demon Li, I want to see how much blood and essence you have to support you to perform the blood escape secret technique. 4 years ago, if it weren't for your fearless disciple who used the secret technique to delay me, would you have survived to this day? Today I want to see if you still have such luck." Old Demon Li, who was escaping by performing the blood escape technique, heard the voice coming from behind him, and his face was full of anger, and he said secretly, "Damn thing, Zio, master, I will definitely avenge you in the future." 4 years ago, it was Li He, the Zio in the mouth of Old Demon Li, who, with perfect key training, performed the magic boiling technique, forcibly burned blood in essence, raised his cultivation to the foundation building stage, and desperately stopped Luo Minghu and others who attacked and killed Old Demon Li. Old Demon Li took the opportunity to escape and survived to this day. In the sky, Luo Minghu, who was driving the flying boat, looked slightly condensed after the sarcasm, and increased the amount of spiritual power injected into the flying boat under his feet. The flying boat flashed with spiritual light, and the flying speed increased by nearly 1-fold. Although Li Laomo, who turned into bloodlight on the ground, was much faster than the flying boat, the distance between them was widened at first, but as time went on, Li Laomo's speed gradually slowed down, and Luo Minghu and Ling Yunhong, who were chasing behind, were getting closer and closer. In just 1 hour, the two caught up with Li Laomo. The battle was about to break out. Luo Minghu, who was driving the flying boat, took out 12 red formation flags embroidered with flame patterns from his mouth. As soon as the 12 formation flags came out of the outside world, they turned into escape lights and surrounded Li Laomo, who was fleeing in front. Formation up. The 12 formation flags shook in the void, and large flames surged out of each of them, sweeping towards Li Laomo. At this time, Ling Yunhong, who was riding the flying boat, also slapped his storage bag and summoned out a full 18 green flying swords from it. These 18 green flying swords were all made from several hundred-year-old green spirit bamboos of the 2nd grade lower grade. Because Ling Yunhong's refining level had not yet reached the second grade, only 3 green bamboo swords had reached the second grade lower grade, and they were the lowest grade flying swords among the second grade lower grade flying swords. The remaining 15 flying swords were all first grade upper grade. The earthly evil sword formation begins. The 18 green flying swords flashed a spiritual light at the same time, as if they were one body. At the tip of the sword, a huge sword light 3 feet long burst out. Go! The 18 green giant swords turned into green spiritual light and killed Li Lao Mo in front. Li Lao Mo in front was forced to stop due to the raging fire and the flying swords. He quickly took out a magic shield from his storage bag, injected spiritual power, and propped up a blood-red light curtain to temporarily resist the flames and flying swords. Then, he spit out the cone-shaped thousand ghost banner, which was still his life magic weapon, and summoned tens of thousands of evil ghosts from the souls of tens of thousands of Wen family mortals killed in this attack, and rushed to the raging fire outside the light curtain. He wanted to weaken the power of the raging fire in this way. In the sky, Luo Minghu, who was driving the flying boat, saw this scene and laughed jokingly. Just evil ghosts that have not yet entered the rank, are like moths flying into the fire. What he said was not wrong. Although the tens of thousands of evil ghosts summoned by Li Lao Mo were as many as tens of thousands, they did not hinder the raging flames spewed out by the 12 formation flags. Those evil ghosts were burned to ashes as soon as they touched the flames. In just 100 breaths, the tens of thousands of evil ghosts were burned to ashes. Without these evil ghosts, the thousand ghost banner was useless. Although Li Lao Mo still had a second-level upper-grade magic sword, it was entangled by Ling Yunhong's 18 second-level lower-grade flying swords and could not make any contribution. Under the endless flames summoned by the 12 formation flags, in just half an hour, the light curtain supported by Li Lao Mo's second-level magic shield was broken, and the endless flames also burned Li Lao Mo's body to ashes. After Li Lao Mo died, the stone weighing on the hearts of Luo Minghu and Ling Yunhong finally loosened. The next moment, Ling Yunhong summoned the Fairy Crane King, left Luo Minghu's flying boat, and rode on the Fairy Crane King. The sword formation composed of 18 flying swords did not retract, but floated beside him to guard against Luo Minghu. The two of them could ride on the same flying boat before, because they had a common enemy. Now that Li Lao Mo is dead, they will also become ordinary. Ling Yunhong praised. Fellow Taoist Luo is extraordinary, and I admire him again. Fellow Taoist Ling is also strong. Luo Minghu saw Ling Yunhong's behavior, his expression moved slightly, and he did not say anything, but just replied politely. The old demon Li is dead, and the spiritual objects on his body have been destroyed by the flames summoned by my natal formation flag. Let's return to the front line as soon as possible. I am really worried about handing our family members over to the hands of Wu Yan and his wife. Yes. Ling Yunhong agreed very much. Although Wu Yan and his wife promised them to help them conquer the sacred mountain occupied by the stone-armored apes, if the family members were in danger during this period, it was unknown whether Wu Yan and his wife, as outsiders, would help. One of them controlled the flying boat, and the other rode the Fairy Crane King, flying rapidly towards the south. May 3rd, night. Hundreds of cultivators from the 5 major foundation building families in Huaishu County who set out from Huaishu Market have been traveling for 3 days and are finally approaching the sacred mountain occupied by the stone-armored apes. The 3-day-long journey made the hundreds of cultivators very tired. Therefore, the patriarchs of the 5 major families did not rush to attack the stone-armored apes, but found a deserted valley around the sacred mountain where the stone-armored apes were entrenched, and let the tribesmen rest for a night, and then attack at dawn. That night, Ling Yunhong, a foundation-building monk in the Ling family monk team, and Luo Minghu, a foundation-building monk in the Luo family monk team, who were resting in the deserted valley, both noticed something unusual in their storage bags. They took out a talisman that had moved in their storage bags and looked at it. When they saw the content written on the talisman, they were slightly happy and looked at each other from a distance of dozens of feet. Ling Yunhong, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, stood up, walked to his own monk team, woke up Ling Pengyun, who was closing his eyes and regulating his breathing, and pulled him to a corner in the valley. He quietly stuffed 4 talismans into Ling Pengyun's hands, and then transmitted his instructions. Xiaoyan, I am your cousin. Be careful in the battle of the stone-armored apes. Don't act rashly. Your uncle and aunt are waiting for you. After saying this, Ling Yanhong did not say much and immediately followed the Luo clan leader Luo Minghu to leave the valley. Ling Pengyun, who was confused for a while, looked at the direction where his clan leader Ling Yanhong left, thinking about what Ling Yanhong had just said to him, and then looked at the 3 first-level upper-grade golden light talismans and a second-level lower-grade fire crow talisman in his hand. His pupils shrank slightly and he was secretly surprised. Is the third uncle a cousin? Or is it my cousin in disguise? As soon as this idea came out, Ling Pengyun was immediately certain. No wonder the third ancestor rarely spoke during the 3 days since leaving Huaishu Market and entering Jiamang Lake. So that's the case. But why did my cousin disguise himself as the third ancestor? Where did the third ancestor go? Questions emerged in Ling Pengyun's mind. Half a mile away from the deserted valley, in a dense forest, Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, who rushed out of the desolate valley, all came here. In front of them stood 2 people who looked the same as them. The 4 people did not feel strange when they looked at each other. After they bowed, Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, who rushed out of the desolate valley, suddenly flashed a spiritual light on their faces. Then, a human skin mask floated up from their faces. The real faces of the 2 people also appeared. They were Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, who used the phantom masks to disguise and kill Li Laomo, and Wu Yan and his wife, who completed the task assigned by Bailingman. The 2 people standing opposite them were the real Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, who killed Li Laomo a day ago. After Wu Yan took off the phantom mask on his face, he smiled slightly and asked, "Patriarch Luo, Patriarch Ling, you are very fast. Did you get things done?" Luo Minghu did not say much. He was not familiar with Wu Yan and his wife. Ling Yanhong said, "It's done. Thank you to Taoist friends for the past 3 days." After saying this, he and Luo Minghu took out a phantom mask from their storage bags and handed it to Wu Yan. Wu Yan took the 2 phantom masks, his expression slightly condensed, and his spiritual sense probed into them, checking them once or twice. He found that the 2 masks were not damaged, and then he put them back into the storage bag with confidence. Since this matter is over, let's say goodbye. He bowed to Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, and left the place with Yang Xiling in secret. Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu did not stay in this dense forest for long. They each cast a wind control technique, moved with the wind, left this place, and rushed towards the deserted valley where the 5 cultivators of Huaishu County were resting. Chapter 119 2-Day Deadline. As soon as Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu entered the deserted valley where the cultivators of Huaishu County were stationed, they found the foundation-building cultivators of the other 3 families, brought them all to a corner of the valley, set up a soundproof ban around them, and then began to talk. When Ruijing, the patriarch of the Yan Wen family, knew the details of borrowing the illusion mask. Seeing the current actions of Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu, he also guessed that the current Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu are the real bodies. He asked Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu nervously, "Fellow Taoist Ling, fellow Taoist Luo, was the plot to kill Li Laomo successful?" Ling Yanhong replied, "Well, Li Laomo died in fellow Taoist Luo's flame-burning array." "That's great, that's great." When Ruijing, the patriarch of the Wen family, heard the words, and the stone hanging in his heart finally fell, and laughed. 4 years ago, he was the one who led the battle against Li Laomo to destroy the demon. It would have been fine if Li Laomo had been killed in that battle, but Li Laomo escaped. Since then, Wen Ruijing has never felt at ease, for he was afraid that Li Laomo would attack his Wen family again. He was only at the 2nd level of foundation building, and he was no match for the seriously injured Li Laomo. The other 2 family heads also showed joy on their faces because of the destruction of Li Laomo. After a few breaths, when the joy faded, Liu Dao Zhao, the head of the Tiger Roar Liu family, who relied on beast control as his foundation, looked around and saw that Wu Yan and his wife, who had used illusion masks to disguise themselves as Ling Yanhong and Luo Minghu these days, were no longer in the wilderness. He said with great distress, "The Wu Yan couple just followed the team and earned 8,000 Zuanshu iron ore from 5 families in Huaishu County in 3 days. This spiritual item is really easy to earn." Ling Yanhong raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this and retorted, "Fellow Taoist Liu, what can we do? Only the Bailing sect has such a powerful disguise item as the illusion mask. If there is no disguise item this time, how can Li Laomo feel at ease to come out from the dark? Fellow Taoist Luo and I will also have difficulty finding Li Laomo." Luo Minghu agreed. "That's right. The illusion mask is crucial to the plan to kill Li Laomo. The ore we spend, no matter how much, is actually the cost of the illusion mask. If it weren't for a fellow Taoist Ling, it would be impossible for us to borrow the illusion mask this time. When Ruojing of the Wen clan and the head of the Qingshi Wen clan also agreed. Liu Daozhao saw that the foundation-building cultivators of the other four families said this, which made him seem a little stingy. For a moment, his cheeks were a little hot, and he lowered his head and stopped talking. Luo Minghu suddenly noticed the change in Liu Daozhao's expression and changed the subject. Tomorrow we will capture the spiritual vein occupied by the rock-armored apes. Everyone, please do your best. There are only 2 days left before the deadline given to us by the Bailing sect. If we fail to capture the second-level spiritual vein occupied by the rock-armored apes within 2 days, you all know the consequences. In addition, according to the information given by the Bailing sect, there are 4 foundation-building demon apes in the demon ape group we are going to capture tomorrow. They are 1 late foundation-building demon ape, 2 middle foundation-building demon apes, and 1 early foundation-building demon ape. In order to fight better, we should also distribute them. During the battle tomorrow, I will stop the late foundation-building rock-armored demon ape. Fellow Taoist Ling, whose cultivation level is in the middle foundation-building stage, will block a middle foundation-building rock-armored demon ape alone. Fellow Taoist Wen and fellow Taoist Wang, whose cultivation levels are both in the second level of foundation building, will work together to block a middle foundation-building rock-armored demon ape. Although fellow Taoist Liu is only in the first level of foundation building, you have a tiger demon spirit beast in the early foundation building stage, so you can stop the early foundation building demon ape alone. Is this distribution feasible? The other 4 families' foundation building cultivators had no objection to this. Luo Minghu's cultivation was the highest here, and he temporarily served as the commander, and the arrangement was reasonable. After chatting for a few more words, they returned to their own teams one after another. After Ling Yunhong returned to the team, he found the 6th elder Ling Yunqian, the leader of the 30 key training cultivators, and asked him about the situation in the past 3 days. The 6th elder Ling Yunqian, who knew the details, was not surprised by this inquiry and replied in a low voice. "Third brother, since leaving the Huaishu market on the 3rd day, we have been on the road. On the way, we encountered 4 small waves of monsters, which were all killed very easily, and we did not encounter any danger. Senior Yang Xiling, who used the illusion masks to disguise his face as you, has been following the team, which can be regarded as fulfilling his duties." At this point, Ling Yunqian's face was full of expectation, and he asked, "Then did the matter of trapping and killing Li Laomo succeed?" Ling Yunhong smiled and nodded. Seeing this, Ling Yunqian's face was immediately overjoyed. This plan to kill Li Laomo was his idea. He was very pleased with the success of the plan. Ling Pengyun, who was only 10 feet away from the two, heard what they said and was shocked. He immediately understood why Yang Xiling disguised herself as Ling Yunhong. "I didn't expect that the 3rd ancestor was going to kill Li Laomo. No wonder my cousin disguised herself as the 3rd ancestor. I think my cousin did this to confuse Li Laomo's eyes." Ling Pengyun guessed secretly. The next day, since the early morning, hundreds of Huaishu County family cultivators who had rested for a night, led by 5 foundation-building cultivators, sneaked for several miles and came to a large dense forest. About a mile away from the dense forest, there is a mountain range that stretches for several miles. From time to time, a few monkey roars can be heard from the mountain range. Is this the second-level spiritual vein occupied by the stone-armored ape group? As the battle was about to begin, Ling Pengyun looked at the mountain in front of him, and the pressure in his heart doubled. In the group battle between hundreds of key training monks and hundreds of key training monsters, his cultivation level of only the 7th level of key training was somewhat powerless. The mountain where the group of stone-armored apes was located was the Demon Python Mountain, where the 2nd grade superior spiritual vein was located, which was led by 2 giant masters from the Bailing sect on the front line and thousands of monks had to capture. It was one of the 5 2nd-grade spiritual veins within 10,000 miles nearby. The Demon Python Mountain was the most prominent gathering place for monsters in the Jiamang Lake area. There were more than 10 foundation-building demon pythons, and the leading one, the Ice Python King, had a cultivation level as high as the perfect foundation building, which was only 1 step away from entering the Jinden stage. It also had rich dragon blood in its body, and was the direct descendant of the Jinden dragon in Jiamang Lake, and also their right-hand man. The foundation-building clan leaders of the 5 foundation-building families in Huaishu County encouraged the morale and precautions of their clansmen who were going on this expedition. After the miscellaneous matters were dealt with, the team of hundreds of monks took steps again and sneaked towards the rock-armored Ape Mountain, a mile away. The team of hundreds of monks had not advanced half a mile when they were discovered by the demon apes in the rock-armored Ape Mountain. Roar! 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 The apes' cries rang out one after another in the mountains. After a few breaths, all the rock-armored demon apes in the mountains that stretched for several miles knew that a large number of human beings were about to approach the mountains. In the mountains, the 4 rock-armored demon apes in the foundation establishment stage, whose intelligence had been awakened, used their innate pupil techniques to detect the hundreds of monks approaching outside the mountains. When they realized that there were 5 foundation establishment monks who were not weaker than them among the hundreds of monks, they looked shocked and shouted to summon their own tribesmen to prepare for the battle. In just 100 breaths, the rock-armored demon apes distributed in various places in the mountains gathered around the 4 foundation establishment rock-armored demon apes in the hinterland of the mountains. With the roar of the late foundation establishment ape demon king, the entire demon ape tribe of more than 700 rock-armored demon apes in the key training stage rushed towards the hundreds of human monks who had just entered the mountains. Chapter 120, Cooperate to fight the foundation-building demonic ape. On the other side, hundreds of cultivators from Huaishu County who had just entered the rock-armored Ape Mountain range all sensed the roars of demon apes coming from the depths of the mountain range. And these roars were getting closer and closer to them. This situation also made hundreds of cultivators more nervous. Stop, the rock-armored ape tribe is about to arrive, get ready to fight. Among the 5 foundation-building cultivators walking at the strongest end of the team, Luo Minghu, the patriarch of the Luoxia Luo clan with the highest cultivation, raised his hand to signal the cultivators present. As soon as the words fell, a total of 150 cultivators from the 5 families in Huaishu County formed a formation according to their families and each took out their combat weapons. The clansmen of the Lingxiao Ling clan and the Luoxia Luo clan both took out a formation flag. After the clansmen of the Qingshi Mountain clan summoned their magic weapons, they each held a few spiritual talismans in their hands. The clansmen of the Lingxiao Liu clan summoned several spirit beasts from the beast controlling bag, and then used the secret method of beast controlling to penetrate their spirit beasts and strengthen the strength of the spirit beasts. After the Yunwuan clan members took out their attack weapons and floated beside them, they all held a first-class magic shield in their left hands and a magic weapon that stored spiritual power in their right hands. The 5 foundation-building monks of the 5 leading families did the same. The Luoxia Luo clan leader spit out 12 flaming fire-burning array flags from his mouth. The Lingxiao Ling clan leader took out 18 flying sword magic weapons from his storage bag and transformed them into a ground evil sword formation. The Lingxiao Liu clan leader summoned a huge red-haired tiger that was 1 foot tall and 2 or 3 feet long from his beast bag. This tiger was the Liu clan's spiritual beast Yanyan tiger, and its cultivation level was as high as the initial stage of foundation building. The Qingshi Mountain clan and the Yunwuan clan leaders were more ordinary, and the magic weapons they took out were 1 sword and 1 magic shield. After dozens of breaths, 4 huge demon apes that were 3 or 4 feet tall, wearing a set of rock armor, led more than 700 demon apes that were also wearing rock armor and were smaller in size, and rushed out from the depths of the mountains. Luo Minghu, the head of the Luo family, who had the highest cultivation level and was also the leader of this battle, saw that there were too many key training demon apes in the group of demon apes rushing towards him, and he quickly called out to the other 4 foundation-building cultivators beside him. There are too many key training demon apes, and our people can't stop them. Quickly kill a wave of key training demon apes, and then stop the assigned foundation-building demon apes. The foundation-building cultivators of the other 4 families all agreed and quickly launched attacks. The 12 flaming and burning formation flags that Luo Minghu, the head of the Luo family, threw turned into 12 streams of light, spanning a mile, directly encircling the hundreds of key training demon apes. Countless flames gushed out from the 12 formation flags and swept over the bodies of the demon apes in the formation. In just 3 breaths, nearly half of the key training demon apes in the formation were burned to ashes by the flames. Ling Yanhong, the head of the Ling clan, fired 18 flying swords, which turned into a sword formation. The flying swords emitted sword beams several feet long and rushed into the group of demon apes, just like cutting wheat. The rock armor on the key training demon apes was like thin paper. As long as the 18 giant flying swords touched the key training demon apes, they would be cut in half by the flying swords. After firing a flying sword, Liu Dao Zhao, the head of the Liu clan, signaled to his spirit beast in the early stage of foundation building, and called the flame cloud tiger to kill the demon apes. The flame cloud tiger roared at the demon apes, and a layer of flaming armor was attached to its body. It kept spitting out millstone-sized fireballs at the demon apes, and at the same time, it ran wildly on all fours, rushing into the demon apes to fight. Those key training rock armor demon apes were no match for the flame cloud tiger. The flame cloud tiger monster could tear a demon ape to pieces with every strike. As for the attacks of the key training demon apes, they were all blocked by the layer of flaming armor on the flame cloud tiger monster. The flying swords fired by Wang Changming and Wen Xiannian, the patriarchs of the Wang and Wen clans, also entered and killed the demon apes. In just a few breaths, the 5 foundation-building monks and the foundation-building flame cloud tiger killed nearly 300 key training demon apes, which made the demon ape king in the late stage of foundation building, who led the demon ape group, furious. Roar. The demon ape king roared. It appeared with dots of earth yellow light curtains around it, and quickly condensed into a giant rock several feet in size, bombarding Luo Minghu, who controlled the 12 formation flags and summoned flames to kill the most key training demon apes. The other 3 foundation-building demon apes in the demon ape group received a signal from the demon ape king and cast spells one after another, attacking the other 4 foundation-building monks and the flame cloud tiger. The 5 foundation-building monks of Huaishu County saw the attack coming and used their own methods in time, either activating the magic shield-like curtain or casting defensive talismans to temporarily block the spell attacks from the 4 foundation-building demon apes. Afterwards, the 5 foundation-building monks mobilized the magic weapons that were harvesting the key training demon apes in the demon ape group, and turned to attack the 4 foundation-building demon apes. Luo Minghu, who was the strongest and had a cultivation level as high as the late foundation-building stage, blocked the late foundation-building demon ape king. Ling Yanhong blocked one of the 2 mid-foundation demon apes, Wang Changming, the patriarch of the King's Wen clan, and Wen Xiannian, the patriarch of the Yun Wen clan, blocked the other mid-foundation demon ape, and Liu Dao Zhao, the patriarch of the Huxiaoliu clan, and the Yan'an who blocked the only early foundation demon ape. At this time, Ling Yanhong, the patriarch of the Ling clan, signaled to Ling Yanqian beside him. 8th brother, cast the Yimu demon trapping array to trap the mid-foundation rock armor demon ape on the far left. As soon as these words came out, a total of 6 Ling clan members who controlled the Yimu demon trapping array flags, led by Ling Yanqian, quickly threw out 1 or 2 flags in their hands. Period. But in an instant, the 9 formation flags raised by the 6 people surrounded the mid-stage foundation-building rock-armored ape that Ling Yanhong had just mentioned. The formation is up. Ling Yanqian, holding the Yimu demon trapping formation plate, entered a spell into the formation plate and groaned. The 9 Yimu demon trapping formation flags flashed at the same time, forming a huge green light curtain, covering the mid-stage foundation-building demon ape. At the same time, hundreds of arm-thick vines quickly grew out of the green light curtain and tied to the limbs of the mid-stage foundation-building rock-armored ape. The mid-stage foundation-building rock-armored ape suddenly saw that its body was tied up by countless vines and was shocked. Roar! It roared angrily, and the huge force contained in its body was exerted at the same time. In an instant, nearly half of the hundreds of vines tied to its limbs were torn off by the huge force. Ling Yanqian, who was in charge of the Yimu demon trapping array in the Ling family, frowned when he saw this. He made a gesture with his hands and cast 3 magic seals in succession, injecting them into the array in his hand and the 2 Yimu array flags he controlled. Inject more spiritual power into the array flags and make sure to trap this demon ape. The other Ling family members who controlled the Yimu demon trapping array flags also knew that the situation was serious and quickly followed suit, increasing the spiritual power they transferred into the array flags. In an instant, the Yimu demon trapping array, which received a large amount of spiritual power, once again transformed into dozens of vines as thick as arms, which entangled the limbs of the mid-stage foundation-building demon ape. Under the entanglement of these dozens of subsequent vines, the mid-stage foundation-building demon ape, which suddenly burst out with great power and was about to break free from the vines, immediately lost its strength. Although some vines were torn off by its great power, the Yimu demon trapping array continued to grow new vines under the support of sufficient spiritual power. Chapter 121 Cooperate to kill the key training demonic ape. When this mid-stage foundation building demon ape was entangled by hundreds of vines, Ling Yunhong also quickly seized the opportunity. In order to avoid the 18 giant sword beams transformed by the earthly evil sword formation accidentally cutting off the hundreds of vines tied to its limbs when attacking the demon ape, Ling Yunhong used his fingers to quickly retract the huge sword beam several feet long on the tips of the 18 flying swords that formed the earthly evil sword formation into the flying swords. The previous giant sword beams on each flying sword were amplified on the blade of the flying sword, and suddenly, the flying swords were covered with cold beams. Go! Ling Yunhong waved his hand and sent out the 18 flying swords at the same time, bombarding the abdomen and head of the mid-stage foundation building demon ape covered with a thick layer of stone armor, the only parts that were not tied by hundreds of vines. Although only 3 of the 18 flying swords were second-grade inferior flying swords, the remaining 15 flying swords were all the best flying swords among the first-grade superior ones. Under the blessing of the sword light, these flying swords were extremely powerful. Under the continuous bombardment of the 18 flying swords, the solid stone armor on the abdomen and head of the mid-stage foundation building demon ape gradually cracked and finally shattered. The shattering of the 2 stone armors made the mid-stage foundation building demon ape angry and fearful. Its flesh and blood could hardly withstand the bombardment of the 18 flying swords. Just when the 18 flying swords were about to pierce the flesh and blood of the mid-stage foundation building demon ape, it made up its mind to activate the body-protecting Yuan Gang that only the foundation-building demon beast could exert. A cocky light curtain was immediately propped up by the demon ape, blocking the 18 flying swords. This cocky light curtain stimulated by the inner elixir is very solid. Even if 18 flying swords bombard the light curtain at the same time, it can only shake the light curtain, and it is difficult to break it in a short time. Seeing this, Ling Yunhong, who controls the flying sword, is also very helpless. He can only secretly pray that Ling Yunqian and others can have enough spiritual power to open the Yimu demon trapping array and drag the middle stage foundation building demon ape until the moment when the body protecting Yuan Gang is broken and killed. The body protecting Yuan Gang is the best way to save the life of demon beasts above the foundation building stage, and its defense is comparable to the magic shield of the same level. Of course, although the body protecting Yuan Gang is strong, it is also harmful. If the body protecting Yuan Gang is broken, it will also damage the inner elixir of the demon beast. Later, this battle became a life and death battle of spiritual power. The foundation-building cultivators of the 5 families in Huaishu County fought fiercely with the foundation-building demon ape, and the key training cultivators of the 5 families were not idle either. After hundreds of demon apes rushed into the 1-mile range of the 5 Kigan cultivators' spiritual awareness, the 5 Kigan cultivators immediately used their own methods to attack the hundreds of demon apes that attacked. In the formation of the Ling clan, except for Ling Yunhong, who used the Yimu demon trapping formation to attack the mid-stage foundation building demon ape together with Ling Yunhong, the other 24 Ling clan members quickly gathered together in groups. According to the pre-war drill, the team led by Ling Pengyun first played 6 demon binding formation flags to surround 2 late-stage Kigan, 8 mid-stage Kigan, and 35 early-stage Kigan demon apes among the hundreds of demon apes that rushed towards his family. The 6 formation flags formed a formation in an instant, and transformed into dozens of water ropes to tie up the 45 demon apes. Afterwards, the 6 Wutu curtain formation flags played by the team led by Ling Pengyun transformed into yellow light curtain, protecting more than 30 Ling clan members. Finally, it was the team led by Ling Xiaohu and Ling Pengxing, who controlled the fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation, who took action. As soon as the fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation flags came out, they all flew to the vicinity of the demon apes trapped in the demon binding formation, surrounded the 45 demon beasts, formed a formation, and transformed into a series of fiery fire and a series of golden needles that swept over the bodies of the 45 demon apes in the formation. The fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation were originally first-level medium-grade formations. Although they were not arranged on the spiritual veins and had no formation tools, their power was at most only 70% of the formation's full victory. But even so, the power of these 2 formations was still impressive. The innate magic spell rock armor activated by the demon apes and the formation, the rock armor that was transformed, was simply unable to withstand the simultaneous attack of the 2 killing formations. In addition, Ling Pengyun organized people to arrange the demon binding formation to bind the demon beasts in the formation, making it difficult for them to break free in a short time and escape from the killing formation range. This also caused more than 20 key training early-stage demon apes to be directly killed by the two killing arrays within a few breaths. Only those key training middle and late-stage demon apes could resist the array. Those key training middle and late-stage demon apes that survived in the array were not stupid. They knew that if they stayed, they would definitely die. The only way to survive was to kill the person who controlled the array. Under the leadership of the two key training late-stage demon apes in the array, the remaining key training middle-stage demon apes that survived in the array all began to desperately cast their life spells, transforming into stone cones, stone arrows, and boulders to hit Ling Pengyun and others. Boom, boom, boom. These more than 20 earth-related spells bombarded the Wu-Tu-Hum-Yu array organized by Ling Pengyun, and the illusory light curtain caused waves. Although these more than 20 spell attacks were all resisted, the flashing spiritual light of the Wu-Tu-Hum-Yu array also dimmed a bit. Just as these spell attacks fell, more than 50 key training apes rushed out of the demon ape group and rushed towards the Ling family's team. The Ling family had no manpower to resist this second wave of key training apes, so they could only watch the more than 50 demon apes rushing over. The 50 key training apes were all wearing stone armor, and their bodies were stretched to a great extent. Because they had mastered the stone armor technique, the rock armor demon apes liked close combat the most. Therefore, the more than 50 key training apes directly used their bodies to hit the light curtain transformed by the Wu-Tu-Hum-Yu formation. These demon apes were very strong. 50 demon apes hit the light curtain at the same time, causing the entire light curtain to shake continuously. It was as if the light curtain would be smashed to pieces in the next moment. At this time, Ling Pengyun, who was inside the light curtain, also frowned. She pinched her hands together and performed a secret method of the formation, condensing a seal covered with formation patterns, and hid it into the formation plate of the Wu-Tu-Hum-Yu formation, floating in front of her. As soon as the seal merged into the array plate began to glow brightly. The light curtain activated by the array no longer shook, but stabilized in an instant. The glowing light was 3 times brighter than before, and the thickness of the light curtain also increased. 6th uncle, 3rd brother, 8th brother, I can't hold on for long. Quickly kill the remaining demon apes in the demon binding array and come back to kill the more than 50 demon apes that rushed in the second wave. Seeing that the defensive light curtain was stable, Ling Pengyun breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly called out to Lingxiao, Ling Penxing, and Ling Pengyun, who were also in the defensive light curtain and controlling the fiery array, golden needle array, and demon binding array. Chapter 122, The Earthly Evil Sword Formation. Lingxiao and the other two who were standing by all knew the seriousness of the matter. If the Wu-Tu-Hum-Yu formation was broken, they, the Ling clan, would have to fight the more than 50 key training period demon apes that were temporarily blocked by the light curtain. In a close fight between a cultivator and a demon beast, even if their cultivation levels were similar, they would have little chance of winning. Although the cultivator's body was several times stronger than that of a mortal, it was simply no match for the rock-armored apes that were covered in rock armor and had infinite power. Once they fought in close combat, they would suffer heavy losses. Lingxiao and the other two immediately called on the Ling clan members under their command to increase the amount of spiritual power injected into the flags of the fiery fire formation, the golden needle formation, and the demon binding formation. With more spiritual power injected into the formations, the power of these 3 formations was also greatly increased. The temperature of the flames transformed by the fiery fire formation was several times higher. The number of golden needles transformed by the golden needle formation was also greater, and nearly 100 golden needles could be shot out in succession each time. The water ropes transformed by the demon binding array became thicker, and the remaining 20 or so demon apes in the middle and late stages of key training were tied up tightly. The 3 arrays exerted their power at the same time, which made the remaining 20 or so demon apes in the middle and late stages of key training miserable. The spiritual light flashing on the rock armor of many demon apes in the middle stage of key training was extremely dim. It was feared that it would not be long before they would be shattered by the attacks transformed by the 2 killing arrays of golden needles and raging fire. In the Ling family team. Although Ling Pengyun's cultivation was only at the 7th level of key training, because he practiced a foundation building technique of the Azure Sea Sutra key training chapter in the Azure Water Art, his spiritual power was comparable to that of the 8th level of key training. Because of the yin and yang primordial ki, his consciousness reached the limit of the ki training period, which was comparable to that of a ki training perfect strong man. In this case, although he needed to control the demon binding array disc and a demon binding array flag in his hand, he still felt that he had enough strength. Therefore, in the current dangerous situation, he did not intend to hold back. With a thought, he patted the beast bag on his waist and summoned Feng Yingpeng, who had just started practicing Qi. Feng Ying released the wind blade to attack the rock-armored ape that was bound by the water ropes. Feng Yingpeng, who had just come out of the beast bag, got a signal and noticed that he was in the middle of a fight. Seeing the rock-armored apes around him, which were also monsters, he did not have any pity, but instead felt an unknown excitement in his heart. His eyes gradually became sharp, and his consciousness locked onto a demon ape in the middle stage of Qi training in the demon binding formation. With a flap of his wings, blue spots appeared around him, and he quickly condensed an inch-long wind blade to bombard the body of the demon ape. However, because Feng Yingpeng had just started practicing Qi and was not strong, the wind blade bombarded the stone armor on the demon ape, but only tore a small hole. Feng Yingpeng was very dissatisfied with this result. He made a cry and condensed wind blades to bombard it. During this time, Ling Pengyun also summoned the 12 first-grade high-quality green bamboo swords that Ling Yunhong had given him 3 months ago from the storage bag on his waist. With a slight thought, he pinched his fingers with one hand and continuously cast 12 spiritual power seals to inject into the 12 flying swords. Earthly Evil Sword Formation. Rise. The 12 flying swords flashed a spiritual light at the same time as if they were one body, and the auras of the flying swords also merged into one. At this moment, a 3-foot sword light burst out from the tip of the sword. Go! The 12 flying swords quickly rushed into the demon binding formation and bombarded the bodies of more than 20 middle and late stage Qi training demon apes that were in danger under the bombardment of the 2 killing formations, the golden needle formation and the fiery fire formation. The rock armor on the middle and late stage Qi training demon apes trapped in the formation had little defensive power under the destruction of the 2 killing formations, the golden needle formation and the fiery fire formation. The 12 flying swords that formed the earthly evil sword formation were all first-class high-quality flying swords, and their quality was also above average. With the sword formation amplification, they were extremely powerful. After being bombarded by the earthly evil sword formation, the rock armor of the remaining 20 or so Qi training middle and late stage demon apes and the first and second killing formations suddenly began to crack. Then, the rock armor on these demon apes gradually broke into pieces. Without this layer of solid rock armor, even if the 20 or so Qi training demon apes and the formation were strong, they were only flesh and blood after all, and could not resist the golden needles, raging fire, and sword formations of the 2 killing formations. However, within 10 breaths, they were killed one after another. Such achievements made Ling Pengyun happy. Without the help of the earthly evil sword formation, the remaining 20 or so Qi training middle and late stage demon apes and the formation would take at least several times longer to be destroyed. This sword formation is worthy of being praised as having the effect of killing enemies of higher levels. Although Ling Pengyun had comprehended and practiced the operation method of the earthly evil sword formation and the 12 flying swords a month before the battle, he had never had the opportunity to use this powerful sword formation. This time, it was his first time to use the sword formation to resist the enemy. Although the first wave of Qi training demon apes was destroyed, there was still a wave of more than 50 Qi training demon apes one step away from them. Ling Pengyun did not dare to be distracted too much, and quickly used the formation plate of the demon binding formation floating in front of him to control the 6 formation flags of the demon binding formation to return and surround the 50 or so Qi training demon apes that were blocked outside by the light curtain transformed by the Wu Tu Hu Mu formation. 6 formation flags surrounded the more than 50 Qi training apes. Ling Pengyun quickly formed seals with his hands and cast a spell in the formation disc. Congeal. The 6 formation flags of the demon binding formation formed a formation again, summoning dozens of water ropes to tie up the more than 50 Qi training apes that kept bombarding the light curtain with their bodies. Seeing this, Ling Xiaohu and Ling Pengxing, who were in charge of the fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation, used the formation disc to control the formation flags of the fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation respectively, followed up, and cooperated with the demon binding formation to transform into an attack, bombarding the more than 50 Qi training apes in the formation. At the same time, Because of Ling Pengyun's previous experience, Ling Penxing, who also had a high cultivation level of the late key training stage and a strong spiritual consciousness, also summoned 12 green bamboo swords from his storage bag. Once these 12 green bamboo swords came out to the outside world, they formed a ground evil sword formation. This is not over yet. Ling Penxing's expression condensed, and a huge sword intent burst out from his body. Enter. Ling Penxing groaned. The huge sword intent in his body was like a tide, pouring into the 12 flying swords that formed the earthly evil sword formation. Between the Sumeru Mountains, more than 50-inch long small sword beams suddenly appeared. At the tips of the 12 flying swords, a 5-foot sword beam burst out from each. Once these sword beams were formed, the 12 flying swords brought a torrent of sword beams and killed into the second wave of demon apes trapped in the demon binding formation. The 12 flying swords that dominated the sword formation were extremely powerful. Even the demon apes in the late stage of key training wearing stone armor could hardly resist the torrent of sword beams for 3 breaths. The dozens of tiny sword beams that were also transformed by the sword formation were small, but their power was not weak. These thin sword beams were like a torrent, and the demon apes in the early stage of key training were killed as soon as they were swept away. The second wave of more than 50 demon apes trapped in the demon binding formation were constantly harvested by the powerful torrent of sword beams like cutting wheat with a knife. Coupled with the attacks of the earthly evil sword formation, golden needle formation, and fiery fire formation performed by Ling Pengyun, the death toll of the more than 50 demon apes within the formation increased with every breath. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123, Wrong Sword Technique. Seeing the power of the earthly evil sword formation displayed by Ling Penxing, Ling Pengyun, who also used the earthly evil sword formation as an attack, looked slightly envious and muttered to himself. Third brother is indeed a sword-wielding Taoist. The earthly evil sword formation displayed by third brother is more than half as powerful as the earthly evil sword formation displayed by me. It's just a pity that it's too difficult to use the sword to enter the Dao. Not only do you need to condense the sword intent, you also need to condense the sword type. It's too difficult. If you don't have talent, it's hard to enter the sword path. With a sigh, Ling Pengyun quickly came back to his senses and devoted himself to the fight. Because Ling Pengyun and Ling Penxing, 2 cultivators in the late stage of key training, had free hands to perform the powerful sword formation, they cooperated with the demon binding formation to restrict the actions of the more than 50 key training demon apes, and the 2 killing formations of golden needles and fierce fire. In just a cup of tea, the second wave of more than 50 key training demon apes were also killed by the Ling family cultivators. The defense line of their own family was such that no demon ape survived. This also gave the 24 Ling clan members who continued to use formations to bombard the demon apes a breathing time to take the key restoring pills distributed by the family to replenish the spiritual power in their dantian that was about to dry up. Just now, although they fought with a demon ape for only a short time, the spiritual power required for the formation was extremely large. However, relatively speaking, the greater the consumption, the stronger the power. After Ling Pengyun swallowed a first-grade high-quality key-restoring pill, he felt the effect of the key-restoring pill, looked surprised, and sighed secretly. The effect of this pill is really strong. It actually restored 70% of the spiritual power in my dantian in an instant. Because of his age and few enemies, Ling Pengyun has rarely used the 2 pills of healing and restoring spiritual energy since he entered the immortal path. He has only heard of the effects of these 2 pills, but has never used them. Therefore, he exclaimed. Just as Ling Pengyun was sighing at the effect of the key-restoring pill, Lingxiao Maturation, who was appointed by the family to control the fiery array, took a key-restoring pill and immediately called out to the Ling clan members around him. Follow me to support the clan leader. Hearing this, Ling Pengyun quickly came back to his senses and looked at the battle between Ling Yunhong and the mid-stage foundation building demon ape. When he saw the mid-stage foundation building demon ape fighting Ling Yunhong holding up the body protecting Yuan Gang, Ling Pengyun frowned. The late-stage foundation building demon ape held up the body protecting Yuan Gang, which meant that the binding water rope transformed by the demon binding array would be blocked by the body protecting Yuan Gang, and could not get close to tie up the body of the mid-stage foundation-building demon ape. As a trapping array, the demon binding array only has the effect of trapping. If it cannot get close to tie up the enemy's body, this array will be useless. Remove the demon binding formation flags, take out your own magic weapons, and work with a third ancestor to smash the light curtain around the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building. Ling Pengyun called out to the 5 members of the Ling clan who were performing the demon binding formation with him, as well as Feng Yingpen. Feng Ying bombarded the light curtain held up by the demon ape. As soon as he finished speaking, he recalled the demon binding formation flag he was controlling, and put the formation flag and the formation disc floating in front of him into the storage bag, freeing up his spiritual consciousness. Then, he used the magic he was best at, combined with the earthly evil sword formation formed by his 12 flying swords, to bombard the light curtain held up by the inner elixir of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building. The 5 Ling clan members who performed the demon binding formation with Ling Pengyun also knew Ling Pengyun's idea, and did not question it. After putting away the formation flags, they took out their magic weapons and fought. The next moment, the flags of the 2 killing formations, the fiery fire formation and the golden needle formation, which were arranged by Ling Penxing and Lingxiao Maturation, flew to the vicinity of the mid-stage foundation building demon ape under their control, forming a formation that transformed into fiery fire and golden needle to bombard the protective Yuan gang held up by the demon ape. As for Ling Pengyun and the other 6 members of the Ling family who arranged the Wu Tu Huim Yu formation, they were still maintaining the formation and transformed into a formation light curtain to protect the Ling family members, so as to prevent the surrounding key training demon apes that attacked the other 4 families from attacking the Ling family members suddenly. The bombardment of the golden needle formation and the fiery fire formation, as well as the attacks of the 12 mid and late stage key training demon apes such as Ling Pengyun, were not strong, but they could not withstand the large number. Not to mention that they could shake the protective Yuan gang held up by the mid-stage foundation building demon ape. It was enough to speed up the spiritual power consumed by the mid-stage foundation building demon ape to maintain its protective Yuan gang. After 2 incense sticks, with the help of 30 Ling family's mid and late stage key training cultivators, the spiritual power in the body of the mid-stage foundation building demon ape was running low, and the protective Yuan gang it held up also became much dimmer. Ling Yanhong, a mid-stage foundation building cultivator, seized this opportunity and performed the melting sword technique in the earthly evil sword formation. Melting. The 18 flying swords that formed the earthly evil sword formation suddenly stopped in the air, and all of them flashed with spiritual light. With Ling Yanhong's control, the 18 flying swords quickly approached and merged with a flying sword beside him. In the end, the 18 flying swords gathered into a flying sword covered with sword-shaped patterns. At the tip of this flying sword, a giant sword light of 5 feet long gushed out. Go! Ling Yanhong raised his hand and swung it down. This giant sword, with the power of burning, turned into a sword light and bombarded the dim protective Yuan gang held up by the mid-stage foundation building demon ape. Crack! A shattering sound suddenly sounded. Then, cracks appeared on the protective Yuan gang held up by the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building. Then, the light curtain also turned into fragments and dissipated in this world. Without the light curtain to resist, the giant sword drove straight in and slashed the demon ape's face. The demon ape was facing a life or death situation. He had no time to think about it. He opened his mouth and spit out a shining inner pill, which hit the attacking giant sword. The 2 objects collided with a loud noise. Boom! After all, the inner pill was something that the demon ape had nurtured for hundreds of years, and it was extremely solid. The giant flying sword could not do anything to it for a while. Ling Yanhong, who saw this scene, frowned, pinched his hands, and pinched several magic formulas in a row, and quickly hit the giant flying sword. After the giant flying sword was integrated with a magic formula, the spiritual light flashed, and the giant sword light at the tip of the sword surged another 10 feet, reaching 6 feet long. The surge in sword light also greatly increased the power of the flying sword. For a moment, the inner elixir that the demon ape had shot out was shaking. It didn't last more than 3 breaths before the demon ape's inner elixir was blown away by the giant flying sword. Without the inner elixir to block it, the giant flying sword also directly hit the demon ape's face. Although the demon ape's face was protected by a thick layer of rock mask, under the powerful force of the flying sword, this rock mask did not last long before it was shattered. The next moment, The head of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building was directly blasted into pieces by the giant flying sword. Once the head was shattered, the remains of the demon ape fell to the ground and died. After the giant flying sword killed the demon ape, the 6-zanglong sword light on the tip of the sword also dimmed. It flashed with light and split into 18 flying swords again, and was called back to Ling Yanhong's side. Thanks, Shen Ming's Poems for 300 points, Book Friend 20220728820150497 for 100 points, thank you both. Thanks, Candy, Countdown, Lingxiao, Book Friend 20190517121520166, Liao Deng Hero Hu Yideo, I'm Not a Big African, Time Arrives, Starry Sky and Zaya Oyaokai for their monthly tickets. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 124, Flame Cloud Tiger shows its might. Ling Pengyun, who had been watching the battle, was shocked to see the power of the sword formation displayed by Ling Yanhong. Third ancestor, who is not a sword cultivator, can display such power by using the wrong character technique of the earthly evil sword formation. If a sword cultivator with the same cultivation level as third ancestor uses the wrong character technique of the earthly evil sword formation, he can most likely use this move to kill the mid-stage foundation building demon ape with one move. The wrong character sword technique of the earthly evil sword formation is a method of changing the attack of the earthly evil sword formation, which can condense all the flying swords that form the sword formation into one place to attack, and it is extremely powerful. This wrong character sword technique is also the only sword formation change attack method in the incomplete earthly evil sword formation obtained by the second elder of the Ling family. The wrong character sword technique of this sword formation can only be granted to the clansmen who have comprehended the earthly evil sword formation and reached the perfection of key training. Due to his cultivation level, Ling Pengyun did not obtain it, but only saw the description of this wrong character sword technique in the book that recorded the sword technique of the earthly evil sword formation. According to the description in the book, in addition to this wrong sword art, the complete earthly evil sword art also includes the 10,000 sword art and the sword and shield art. The former can differentiate into countless flying swords, and the latter can transform swords into shields, both of which are very powerful sword array secrets. In addition to Ling Pengyun being surprised by Ling Yanhong's powerful attack just now, Ling Pengxing, another master of the earthly evil sword array, was also extremely shocked by the power of the wrong sword art of the earthly evil sword array. At the same time, he also looked forward to using the power of the wrong sword art when he reached the same level of cultivation as Ling Yanhong. Finally, I killed this demon ape. Ling Yanqian, the only member of the Ling clan who had achieved the perfection of key training, saw the demon ape being killed, took a long breath, wiped the sweat from his forehead, looked at the corpse of the demon ape, and said with a lingering fear, "Even if you had taken all the key restoring pills distributed by the family during the battle, he would still only have 20% of his spiritual power left. If the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building dragged him for another 100 breaths, he would no longer have the spiritual power to maintain the array disc, form an array, and tie up the demon ape. Once the Yimu demon trapping array was no longer able to restrain the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building, the demon ape's strength would be fully exerted. At that time, even the powerful Ling Yanhong would have to pay a heavy price to kill the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building, and he would not be able to kill it as easily as he did now. On the other side, Ling Yanhong, who had just taken back the 18 flying swords, stepped towards the corpse of the demon ape. When he was about to put away the corpse of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building, he did not expect that the 3 demon apes in the foundation building stage that were being held back by the other 4 foundation building monks on the battlefield suddenly roared at Ling Yanhong. Obviously, these 3 demon apes in the foundation building stage were aware of the death of their companions. But even though they roared, they were all entangled by the other 4 foundation building cultivators and had no ability to avenge their own people. Ling Yanhong saw this and didn't care. He asked half of the Ling clan members to use the storage bags they had prepared to clean up the battlefield, and the other half of the Ling clan members to be on guard against the remaining key training demon apes that might rush in from the other 4 lines of defense. Then he walked towards the corpse of the middle stage foundation building demon ape alone. After he put the corpse of the middle stage foundation building demon ape into the storage bag, he found the inner elixir of the demon ape that was knocked away and collected it. While he was looking for the inner elixir, The Ling clan members who were cleaning the battlefield also used several storage bags on their bodies to collect all the corpses of more than 90 key training demon apes killed on the ground, waiting to divide them equally after the war. For this expedition, the family lent 3 storage bags of 50 meters to each of the 30 clan members who went on the expedition free of charge. This move was mainly to avoid the embarrassing situation that after the clan members killed the demon beast, the corpse of the demon beast was too big to be stored. After cleaning up the battlefield, the 30 key training clan members of the Ling family continued to rely on the protection of the light curtain of the Wu-Tu-Hu-Mu formation set up by Ling Pengyun and his 6 companions, and watched the war between the other 4 families and the demon apes. As for helping, they never thought that the number of demon apes faced by the 5 families was almost the same, and they were all within the scope of the cultivators of each family. Under such circumstances, if they went to help, others would think that they were trying to steal the merits of the war. In addition to the Ling family, the Luoxia family also killed the key training demon ape that attacked their own defense line, and began to help their own foundation building to attack the foundation building demon ape. The key training clan members of the Qingshi Wang family, the Yun Wu-Wen family, and the Huxia family were still fighting hard with the key training demon ape, but they all had the upper hand and only needed time to win. As for the foundation building demon ape, only the Ling family killed it, and the other 3 foundation building demon apes were still alive, which also caused the foundation building cultivators of the other 4 families to still be in a hard fight. Among the 3 foundation building battlefields, the most magnificent one was the battle between Luo Minghu, the patriarch of the Luo family in Luoxia, and the demon ape king in the late stage of foundation building. The demon ape king in the late stage of foundation building was surrounded by 36 formation flags, of which 6 of the most shining formation flags were controlled by Luo Minghu in the late stage of foundation building, and the other 30 formation flags were controlled by the 30 key training clan members of the Luo family. These 36 formation flags all transformed into rolling flames, gathering into a sea of fire that swept over the demon ape king in the late stage of foundation building, forcing the demon ape king to use all his strength to support his body's protective yuan gang to resist with difficulty, and he couldn't even spare the energy to attack. Ling Pengyun, who saw this scene, exclaimed, "These 36 formation flags should be the extremely famous second-level middle-grade endless flame formation of Bailing sect. This formation is not arranged on the spiritual vein, and there is no formation weapon, but it is still so powerful. It is really exquisite, worthy of being from Bailing sect. I am afraid that within half an hour, the protective yuan gang activated by the demon ape king will be broken by the endless flames, and then burned by the endless flames." Just as Ling Pengyun was amazed at this formation, a violent tiger roar came from the side. Ling Pengyun was attracted by the tiger roar and turned his head to look. He saw the Liu family's spiritual beast Yanyan tiger, wearing a flame armor, with its feet stepping on the body of a headless rock-armored ape, holding a rock-armored ape head in its mouth, roaring majestically, showing the power of the tiger roar. The hundreds of key training period demon apes still alive on the battlefield were a little afraid when they heard the tiger roar. In addition, the surrounding fellows kept dying, and the 2 foundation building demon apes and the tribe also died in the battle. For a moment, the morale was low and the fighting power was weakened. This tiger is so strong that it killed the foundation building period demon ape that it was fighting with, together with Liu Dao Zhao, the head of the Liu clan, without the help of the key training monks of the Liu clan. It would be great if I, Feng Yingpeng, could also enter the foundation building stage. After exclaiming, Ling Pengyun looked at the Yanyan tiger, and then looked at Feng Yingpeng who had just entered the key training beside him, with envy in his expression. Ling Pengyun was not the only one who envied him. Ling Yanhong, who was also paying attention to this battle, also looked at the majestic Yanyan tiger with envy in his eyes, and muttered in his heart, "If there is a bottle of bailing water to help, the immortal crane king who has accumulated for 100 years and swallowed the inner elixir of a demon python in the early stage of foundation building 8 years ago has at least a 30% chance of breaking through to the foundation building stage. If the immortal crane king can enter the foundation building stage and take charge of the family will not have to worry about the lack of successors and the birth of good seedlings in the next few hundred years." Through the incident of the flame cloud tiger in front of him, Ling Yanhong also made up his mind that in this battle to kill the monster, rely on killing the monster, handing over the monster's corpse, and exchanging a bottle of bailing water from the bailing gate. At this time, a voice came from the side. "Fellow Taoist Liu, fellow Taoist Ling, Please help. Fellow Taoist Wen, and I don't need the inner elixir of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building. Let's give it to the two fellow Taoists. Thanks to Red, La, V, Scattered Smoke Ash 8 for the monthly ticket. Chapter 125 5 Families Searching for Medicine. Ling Pengyun and Ling Yunhong, who were distracted, were startled and turned their heads to look. Only then did they realize that the person who asked for help was Wang Changming, the patriarch of the Wang family. At this time, Wang Changming and Wen Xiannian, the patriarch of the Wen family, were being suppressed and beaten by a demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building, and they had no power to fight back. Wang Changming and Wen Xiannian could only use talismans and magic shields to support a light curtain, and struggled to resist the powerful punches of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building attached to the rock. After receiving the signal, Ling Yunhong and Liu Daozhao thought about it for a while, and then set off, attacking separately, and went to help. With the combined power of Ling Yunhong, Liu Daozhao, Wang Changming, Wen Xiannian, 4 foundation building cultivators, and a flame cloud tiger in the early stage of foundation building, the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building was killed soon. When the demon ape died, Wang Changming and Wen Xiannian both breathed a sigh of relief. Wang Changming, who invited Liu Daozhao and Ling Yunhong to come to help, was also very helpful. He pointed at the corpse of the demon ape and said, "Thank you for your help, fellow Taoists. This demon ape's inner elixir, you two fellow Taoists can take it." Liu Daozhao looked at the corpse of the demon ape in the middle stage of foundation building on the ground, and then looked at his spiritual beast Yannian who beside him. Seeing a bit of desire in its expression, he gritted his teeth and asked Ling Yunhong, "Fellow Taoist Ling, can you give me the inner elixir of this demon ape? This inner elixir is worth about 500 spirit stones. We will split it in half. If you are willing to give me this inner elixir, I am willing to give you 50 more spirit stones and compensate you with 300 spirit stones." Ling Yunhong thought about it carefully, thinking that his alchemy and weapon refining skills had not reached the second level. If he wanted to get the inner elixir, he would only hand it over to Bailingman to exchange for contribution points or sell it in the market for spirit stones. Now he can earn more spirit stones, so he nodded and agreed. Yes. Upon hearing this, Liu Daozhao immediately took out 300 spiritual stones and gave them to Ling Yunhong. He then walked to the body of the demon ape and dug out the inner elixir in its body. As time went by, all the key training demon apes on the battlefield were killed. The demon ape king in the late stage of foundation building, who was trapped by the endless fire formation set up by the 30 key training cultivators of the Luo family, and Luo Minghu in the late stage of foundation building, was also killed soon after. This battle also ended with the Huaishu County cultivators winning a big victory. After the battle, Luo Minghu, the strongest patriarch of the Luo family, collected the body of the demon ape king and called the foundation building cultivators of the other 4 families together. "Everyone, this mountain is occupied by a group of demon apes, so there must be a lot of spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. What do you think? Should each of us enter the mountains to search for them on our own, or search together and divide the spiritual objects equally?" Luo Minghu asked the opinions of the foundation building cultivators of the other 4 families. Wen Xiannian, the patriarch of the Wen family, who had the weakest foundation among the 5 families, was the first to speak after hearing this. "I agree to search for spiritual medicines and spiritual plants together and share them equally. If each family searches for spiritual medicines and spiritual plants in the mountains on their own, who can find more spiritual medicines and spiritual plants than the Liu Daoyao family? The Liu family's spiritual beasts have very sharp noses. I agree to share equally. I agree to share equally." Ling Yunhong and the King's Wen clan leader Wang Changming both agreed with this idea and spoke one after another. "Since the 3 Taoists agreed to share equally, let's do it this way," Luo Minghu said. After this, the Tiger Roar Liu clan leader Liu Daozhao frowned slightly, but since most people agreed, he couldn't object. After the corpses of the demon apes on the battlefield were cleaned up, more than 100 key training monks from the 5 families of Huaishu County, led by the foundation building monks of the 5 families, wandered around the mountains occupied by the original rock-armored ape group, searching for spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. Because this mountain has a second-level middle-grade spiritual vein, the spiritual energy in the mountain is rich, which also makes many spiritual medicines and spiritual plants grow in the mountain. However, this place is occupied by monsters after all. The mature spiritual plants and spiritual medicines have been eaten up long ago. How could they be left? Most of the spiritual plants left in the mountains are immature spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. Everyone present is a family cultivator and did not waste these young spiritual plants and spiritual medicines. The spiritual plant husbands of each family used secret methods to transplant them. After the 5 families distributed them evenly, they were all preserved in the soul-locking jade box, waiting to return to the family to plant these immature spiritual medicines and spiritual plants in the spiritual field. In the process of searching for spiritual plants, the vast team of cultivators deliberately avoided the spiritual vein deep in the mountains. Until the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants around the mountains were cleaned up, the foundation-building cultivators of the 5 families led the team to the depths of the mountains, where the second-level middle-grade spiritual veins were located. As they went deeper, everyone present could feel that the surrounding spiritual energy would become more concentrated with every step deeper into the mountains. In less than half a cup of tea, everyone followed the direction of the spiritual energy diffusion and entered a small valley in the mountains with extremely rich spiritual energy. The valley is mostly flat land, with dozens of large trees. Many of these trees are spiritual trees that contain spiritual energy. Spiritual trees can grow not only in spiritual fields, but also in places with extremely rich spiritual energy. However, the grades of these wild spiritual trees are generally uneven, and the growth rate is extremely slow because there are no spiritual fields. Roar! Roar! Just as the cultivators were mobilizing their spiritual consciousness to explore the grades and number of spiritual trees in the valley, several tiny monkey cries came from some caves on the cliffs of the valley. This kind of movement also made the hundreds of cultivators from the 5 families of Huaishu County, who had just experienced a great battle, alert. Many cultivators summoned their magic weapons and were ready to fight at any time. At this time, Luo Minghu, the patriarch of the Luoxia family, who had the strongest cultivation here, spoke. These are the cries of small rock-armored apes that have not yet entered the rank. There is no need to panic. After saying this, the cultivators present used their spiritual sense to explore those caves one by one. They found that they were indeed small rock-armored apes that had not yet entered the rank. Only then did they feel relieved. At the same time, some younger or middle-aged cultivators in each team began to pay attention to those small rock-armored apes. The rock-armored ape clan has the blood of the foundation-building monster beast. Although the foundation building is extremely difficult, this ape can at least reach the initial stage of key training when it grows up. If resources are spent on training, it is completely no problem to train it to the middle stage of key training. It is also possible for rock-armored apes with better qualifications to be trained to the late stage of key training. However, it is just a thought. If the 5 foundation-building cultivators from each family did not speak up, no one dared to move. At this time, the 5 foundation-building cultivators did not care about the small rock-armored apes in the caves on the cliffs around the valley, but they all focused their eyes on a spiritual tree full of green leaves and 5 meters high in the depths of the valley. Ling Yanhong, a second-rank lower-grade spiritual plant husband, looked up and down at the appearance of the 50-meter-tall spiritual tree and guessed the origin of the spiritual tree. He looked a little excited, but he did not tell the species of the tree, but tried to hide the excitement on his face. Luo Minghu also recognized the tree. Luo Minghu suddenly noticed the expression of Ling Yanhong beside him and said secretly, Ling Yanhong, as a second-rank lower-grade spiritual plant husband, must have seen the species of the tree. The foundation-building cultivators of the other 3 families also have some knowledge. If they ask a little in the future, they will probably know the origin of this tree. It is impossible for him to keep it all to himself. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.